A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of three women and their vigil of death. We call it Waiting. So now, starring Vivi Janis, Helen Cleve, and Charlotte Lawrence, here is tonight's suspense play, Waiting.
You want me to put butter on them, Eileen?
I don't care. I told you I don't care. I'm not hungry. I couldn't eat, not now. I don't see how you can.
You've got to. It's no good going on like this. Is Harriet coming?
I think so. She said she would.
I hope she gets here soon. Everything will get cold.
Stop it. Why don't you stop it? How can you talk as if nothing's happening? Nothing's going to happen.
Oh, dear. Harriet, I was just wondering if you were going to be late.
Does it make any difference?
Oh, now, you mustn't talk like that. Life goes on. I know it's hard to see that now, but you will. Time is kind to us.
Mr. Mailer is still trying to see the governor.
Let me take your coat, dear.
I'm going to call here in a little while.
We mustn't give up hope.
Mrs. Martinson, could I have a drink?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't really know if there is anything, since I...
I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Where's Eileen?
Lying down. I've got some nice dinner ready, Harriet. Why don't you see if you can get Eileen to have some? It'll give her strength, poor dear.
All right. Hello.
Oh, Harriet. Harriet, I can't stand it. I can't.
I know.
No, you don't. You're only his sister. I love him. I'm his wife.
I'm his sister, and I love him. I know.
Can't they do anything? Did you see Mr. Mailer?
He's trying. He's trying to see the governor.
But there's no time. There's
a witness flying in from Mexico tonight. He says he saw a woman coming out of the building that night about the time that she was supposed to have been killed. Mr. Mailer thinks he might be able to get a stay of execution on the strength of it.
Oh, it won't make any difference. It'll be like all the others. There was no proof. Just Norman and that terrible diary.
Eileen, do you honestly think he didn't kill her?
Of course he didn't. I know he couldn't have done it. I couldn't bear thinking anything else.
But you sometimes do think something else.
No, I love him.
He wrote me a letter. I got it this morning. I want to read it to you.
What? What did he say?
Dear little egg, just a note. I feel I can talk to you better than I can to Eileen. I know how you've stood by these past weeks. It's been the thing that's kept me going. I know that Eileen doesn't think I'm innocent. I was a fool to have kept the diary. I was a fool to have gotten involved with Sheila, but self-recrimination is no help now. It must have been a terrible shock to Eileen, but you weren't altogether blind when it came to seeing the truth of our marriage. I suppose I turned to that poor girl trying to find again what was finished between Eileen and myself. It's too late now, but I wish that things might have been different. Goodbye, little egg. My last brotherly advice. Find a good man, get married, have lots of nice kids, and be happy. You're the best of sisters. All my love, Norman.
He hasn't written to me.
Hasn't he?
He believes that I think he did it.
Don't you?
I love him.
But you think he did kill her?
I love him.
It's not too late to send a message. Let him know. Tell him you know he's not guilty. You could do that.
He was there. He was with her that night.
He admitted that, but there was somebody else after he left.
You're so sure. You sit there cold, not caring. You're like those lawyers. I'm waiting for him to die. I love him and he's going to die. You're waiting for an end to something and you're not feeling anything. Not really. He's your brother and so he's got to be innocent. Save the name of Landon. That's all it means to you.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. You've always laughed at us, Mother and me. You and Norman always laughing, little secrets. I love him, and he always held something away from me that he gave you. I hated him for that.
Then you can't be very unhappy that he's going to die tonight.
Don't you dare say that. Why shouldn't I hate as well? He's never let me in. Never let me belong. Even waiting now. Waiting for him to go to the chair. You keep it to yourselves. I can't even share that.
I'm sorry. I suppose we just don't feel things the same way. Maybe I can't cry anymore.
What's the time?
7.
7. 4 hours.
Eileen? Harriet? Come along. Dinner's getting cold.
I'm not hungry, Mrs. Martinson.
I told you before, Mother.
It's nice that you two have each other for comfort. We must all be strong, pray together, and hope together.
I'd like to get some coffee. You stay here with Eileen. I'll get it.
Mother.
Oh, yes, dear, I'm sorry.
What's the time?
Nearly 8. I'll get it. It must be Mr. Mailer. Hello? Yes, Mr. Mailer. Yes? Oh. It's all right. Thank you. Yes, I will. Governor has refused to see him. He's going to drive to the mansion and try again. He's leaving.
God's will. God's will.
He's leaving as soon as the witness arrives.
A witness? Who?
A man says he saw someone come out of the apartment that night. He says it was a woman. She was running.
He saw the woman?
It was dark, but he thinks he could identify her. He's not sure.
Mr. Mailer brought in a half a dozen witnesses who swore they saw somebody near the apartment. It didn't help. The jury didn't believe it. I think it's unfair.
Oh, please, don't talk about it.
Why not? Am I the only one? Am I the only one who thinks Norman didn't kill her? Am I?
Blind not yourself with love to the faults which lie within man. I've tried not to interfere. I've seen what Norman's done to my daughter during the past 2 years, and I've said nothing. It's not for me to judge his acts. That has been done. And a far higher judge will be waiting.
I won't listen to you. I won't.
Can afford the loyalty that age has already squandered.
Must you quote? Are you afraid of saying something original, something that'll show what you really are?
That's enough. He's my husband. I don't care whether he killed that woman or not. I want him to live. I love him. He can't die.
That was the second movement of the Symphony No. 6 in F major by Beethoven, played by the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Bruno Walter. Brought to you on Evening Music Program. The time is now 9 o'clock. Here's a 5-minute summary of the news. State Prison officials said tonight that nothing new has developed in the bid for stay of execution by Norman Landon, convicted slayer of Sheila Warner. Landon is scheduled to die at 11 o'clock tonight, approximately 2 hours from now. The governor turned down lawyer's latest plea. According to William Naylor, attorney for the condemned man, a new witness has been found who can shed further light on the case. However, the governor does not feel the evidence is sufficient.
I don't know where it went wrong with us.
You tried, Eileen. Your mother knows you tried.
Maybe I didn't understand. Maybe I was wrong, like he said in the letter. But what did I do? I wanted to make him happy. He'd never let me be close to him. I could never share anything.
It's true as I sit here. You did your best. You've nothing to be ashamed of.
Hasn't she? Haven't you, Eileen?
No. No, nothing. He's ruined all our lives, what he did. But it's not right. I shouldn't care. Why do I have to feel the way I do about him? He didn't love me. It was that other woman.
If he loved her so much, why did he kill her?
Because it was dirty. Nasty. Because of the liquor and immorality. It always ends that way.
What do you know about morality? Everything's dirty and nasty to you. You tried to make Eileen feel that way, too. You think I don't know what happened to their marriage? I do.
Get out. Get out of this house. You've shown your true color. You're no better than he was. Get out.
I'll go. I wouldn't.
Well?
Hello? Yes? Yes, I'll wait.
Who is it?
Mr. Mailer. He's coming to the phone.
Let me talk to him.
No, I want to. Hello, Mr. Mailer? This is Mrs. Landon, yes. Oh. I see. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
What did he say? What?
Mr. Mailer's not going to see the governor. He doesn't have to. Norman's just confessed that he killed the woman.
You are listening to Waiting, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Isn't it wonderful the way some people always seem to have the money for extras, car, vacation, weekends away, fur coats, higher education, folks who seem to be in the same circumstances as yourselves. It may be wonderful, but it's nothing you can't have through planned automatic savings, the United States Savings Bond way. Through the payroll savings plan or the bond-a-month plan at your bank, buy United States Savings Bonds regularly.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Vivi Janice, Helen Cleve, and Charlotte Lawrence, starring in tonight's production of Waiting, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'll be going.
No, I don't want you to go.
You let her be in this house after the way she's talked to your mother?
Oh, none of us know what we're saying. It doesn't matter anyway.
Well, I would have thought an apology were in order.
I wish I had a drink.
There's something in the cabinet. I'll get you one, Harriet. I want one, too.
Make it strong.
So he did it, after all.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Yes, you did. You said he did it, didn't you?
He confessed. For his soul's sake, he confessed.
I don't believe it.
You don't want to believe it.
He didn't kill her.
He was always drinking. He taught Eileen to drink, and no good comes of it. It's a false strength she's taking for herself.
Where does your strength come from?
A knowledge of right and wrong. You laugh at that. Wait until you're my age.
I think I'll never know your kind of right and wrong.
You just wait. I praise, go down on my knees that there were no children to see this night.
Eileen, you all right? Eileen.
I dropped it.
No, don't pick up the pieces like that. You'll cut yourself. I'll do it.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid. What's the time?
Nearly 10.
It's the waiting that's the worst. It'd be better if it were finished.
You can't wait till he's dead. Is that what you mean?
Oh.
Is that why you're afraid?
Shut up!
Did that make you feel better?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to take it out on somebody. It's easier then, isn't it? It always was. If you can get angry enough, you don't have to think about things. Like now, that's why you slapped me. You want him to be guilty. It's better for you now he's confessed, isn't it?
He did kill her. He did.
No. I think he confessed to make things easier for you and for me. Then maybe we wouldn't have to spend the rest of our lives wondering. Not that you're wondering. You know, don't you?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Go on inside. I'll make the drink.
A 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked.
They'll find out who really did it. No matter what happens to Norman, they'll find out who did it.
They already know.
Do they? In half an hour, a man's going to be murdered.
An eye for an eye.
At 11 o'clock, we'll just sit here. And it'll be like New Year's Eve. We ought to have the radio on so we know the exact time. But it takes a little while for him to be pronounced dead. Completely dead. What is it? A minute? A minute and a half? Do we drink a toast at 11 or 1 minute past?
You should be put away. Talk like that. You're out of your mind.
Somebody else will be sitting, waiting.
There isn't anybody else. Why don't you be quiet? He did it. I wanted to believe he didn't, but I know. He said he did.
I'll go.
Telegram from Mrs. Norman Landon.
Thank you. For you, Eileen.
You did this.
What is it, dear? Who's it from?
She did it. Congratulations. That's all it says. It's from you, isn't it?
Don't be stupid. Why should I say that? I didn't send it.
Who did?
You're a wicked girl if you sent that. A horrible, wicked girl.
Father was right. You shouldn't be here. I want you to go.
No, I'm staying. I'm going to wait until 11.
You're getting out.
I've told you I'm not leaving.
Call the police, Eileen. Call the police. They'll take care of her.
What are you smiling at? What?
Don't take any notice of her.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just think it's funny. Calling the police to put me out.
She's gone crazy. Stay away from her, Eileen.
Why are you being like this, Harriet? It's not my fault. I can't help it.
I want to hear you say you believe he's innocent. I'm waiting for that.
Operator, get me the police. Harriet, will you go now?
No.
I'll hang up.
How do you know such things?
I said hang up.
You hurt my hand.
I'm sorry. It's bad enough as it is. We don't need any more business with the police.
You hurt me. I'm going to my room. And when you've thought it over, you may come and apologize.
She's old. Things aren't the same to her anymore.
Were they ever?
You think I'm to blame for everything, don't you?
Most of it, yes.
You know what it's like? Living with a man you love. Love so much it makes you weak and nothing. Realize that when you say things, you don't mean them. But you want to hurt. Do anything to get him to notice. Make him angry, anything. But make him feel something. I never could. You think I don't know why he started going with that woman? I understand. I don't want to, but I do. It's the lack in me. Just the way he said in the diary.
It's 10 to 11.
I hated her so much. I thought of killing him, but he wouldn't have cared.
You'll be even with them both now.
You can't understand how I love him. There'll never be anybody else.
There's somebody else, all right.
No.
We're a lot alike. The hold others have over us. Norman and I, you and your mother. It's not good to be that close, not for anybody.
Norman and I had each other. Maybe if it hadn't been for you, Mother, we might have...
You didn't. You had a chance and you didn't. I thought you'd tell the truth when you got the telegram.
You said it. It was you.
I hoped it would make you tell the truth.
Eileen, Harriet, it's nearly 11. We must all pray together.
You pray, Mrs. Martinson. I'll watch you. Hello? Yes, Mr. Naylor. Oh, yes, I will. Thank you. The witness arrived and identified the woman from the picture.
Identified?
The governor granted a stay of execution 5 minutes ago.
He won't come back to me. Would have been better if he died. Now I'll have no one.
You knew, didn't you, Eileen?
Yes.
I didn't think anyone saw me come out. I followed him, Eileen. I did it for you. I had to. It was so wicked. Right after he left her, I went in. I tried to talk to her. I did it for you, dear. They won't electrocute me, will they? I know it's against the commandment to kill, but I had to. I think I'll be able to stand everything but the waiting.
Suspense, in which Vivi Janis, Helen Plebe, and Charlotte Lawrence were starred in Waiting. Next week, the story of a little girl and the terror in a vacant lot. It's called The Screaming Woman and is written by a master of fear and suspense, Mr. Ray Bradbury. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who wrote tonight's play. The music was composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Tom Hanley and Larry Thor.
Crime Photographer Clicks Against Criminals, Fridays on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a little girl and the terror in a vacant lot. We call it The Screaming Woman. So now, starring Sherry Jackson, here is tonight's suspense play, The Screaming Woman.
I'm Margaret Leary, and I got to tell you how it happened. It was Thanksgiving Day, and it was nice and sunshiny, almost like summer except cooler. Mama was cooking the turkey, and I was watching. And Mama said to me,
Oh, good heavens, I forgot. Your Aunt Betty's made some cranberry relish for us. Run over and get it, Margaret, so her feelings aren't hurt. And hurry, dear, this turkey's done to a turn.
So I ran to Aunt Betty's, and on the way back I took a shortcut through Mr. Kelly's lot. It's a swell place to play Indians and cowboys, or explore, or hunting for treasure, because trucks dump all kinds of stuff there. Loads of dirt and junk, and even big things like old cars and big pipes and chunks of concrete. Well, this day, coming back from Aunt Betty's, I saw that a lot of new junk of dirt had been dumped there since Saturday. They'd even covered up a swell big concrete pipe that us kids called our fort. Covered it clear up. Well, I was looking around to see where it used to be, when all of a sudden, the sound was coming up out of the ground. A woman was buried under the junk and dirt and glass, and she was screaming all wild and horrible for someone to dig her out. I started to run. I fell down and got up and ran some more. It was an awful, awful long way to our house that day. Mama!
Margaret.
Mama!
Margaret, haven't I told you not to slam the door? Oh, is that the relish?
Listen, Mama, there's a screaming woman in the lot.
Wash your hands, Margaret.
She was screaming and screaming and screaming. Mama, listen to me. We gotta dig her out. She's buried under tons and tons of dirt.
Well, I'm sure she can wait till after dinner. Oh, honestly, next year, I swear I'm going to buy a bigger platter.
Mama, don't you believe me? You gotta believe me.
Oh, look, honey, I've got a million things to do. Oh, good gosh, look at you. How'd you get your knees so dirty?
Well, running back from the lot.
Well, never mind. Scoot and tell your dad we're about to eat. He's in the front room reading his paper.
Dad! Oh, Dad, I gotta tell you something.
Getting hungry, baby?
Dad, there's a screaming woman in the lot.
I never knew a woman who didn't.
We gotta get picks and shovels and dig her up. Dad!
Oh, I don't feel much like an archaeologist today, Margaret. Can't think of anything but food. Let's have an expedition next Sunday and dig her up.
Oh, we can't wait that long. Dad, she'll die if we don't do it now.
Calm down now.
Dad, please.
Listen, dear. After our Thanksgiving dinner, I'll come out and listen to your screaming woman. How's that?
No, Dad. Maybe she'll die if you don't come out now. You've got to come now.
Margaret?
If you believe me, you wouldn't wait.
Margaret, listen.
You never believe me. Mama doesn't believe me. Nobody believes
Margaret,
me.
quiet down right this minute. Or I not only won't go with you, but you'll go to your room and stay, and without your Thanksgiving dinner. Now, is that clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Margaret, you heard Mother. Don't gobble.
But, Dad, we've got to hurry.
My dear young lady, this is Thanksgiving dinner, an occasion when we do not hurry.
Oh, please,
Listen,
Dad.
if you pester me any more, if you mention her again, this screaming what's-this, I won't go out with you to hear her recital at all. Now, is that understood?
Yes, sir. It's understood.
Well, now that I can be thankful for a full stomach, I guess we should consider what other things we have to be thankful for.
Well, we're all healthy.
And I'm thankful for my big daughter. Right, baby?
Yes, Dad.
And for my loving wife, who is still the most romantic woman I know.
Oh, silly.
I'm thankful I didn't marry somebody else.
Well, you nearly married Dora Lampo. You even gave her a ring.
Oh, that never meant a thing. No, you've only had one serious competitor since we were all kids.
Oh, who?
Helen Nesbitt.
Oh.
Yeah, Helen was my first love. When she was about as old as Margaret, I gave her a present one Christmas, and she gave me one. I still have it.
That paperweight on your dress.
Yeah. It's funny how we hang on to things that were important when we were kids.
Dad.
Now, just a little longer, Margaret.
Oh, Dad, please.
Oh, go on, dear. You'd better take her out to the lot before she collapses.
Okay. Come on, Margaret. Let's hear this wailing banshee of yours. Now, just where is this screaming woman of yours? Lead me to her.
Over here, where our fort used to be.
The fort?
The big concrete pipe. It's all covered up now.
Kelly is really getting this lot filled in. All right, where's the lady?
Right about here, Dad. Listen.
Don't hear a thing, except the wind. You better button your sweater, Margaret.
Listen.
No, it's the trolley over on Aspen Street.
Hey there! Screaming woman! Hey!
I'm afraid your screaming woman's let you down.
But she was here, Dad. Right under where they dumped all this dirt. I heard her screaming and screaming and screaming like she was underneath in the fort. Somebody dumped tons and tons right on top of our fort.
Oh, well, that's too bad they buried your fort, dear. I saw two of Kelly's big trucks here last evening, and there was a dump truck in here this morning, too.
It isn't because they covered the fort.
It must be your screaming woman doesn't like grown-ups. Only delivers her solo for kids.
Maybe she can't scream anymore.
Well, I'm going to take a nap now. Let my dinner settle.
Aren't you going to help me, dear?
Don't you think this is a sort of silly game?
It's not a game.
All right. All right, dear, but don't stay too long. Mama probably would like some help with those dishes.
Dad! Oh, I know I heard her scream. I know it. Oh, darn. You are there. Hey, screaming woman. Why didn't you scream before? Why didn't you scream so Daddy could hear you? Oh, just don't scream for me. I can't help you all by myself. Dad, she's screaming again. Right after you left, she started to scream. You've got to come back.
Oh, there now, Margaret. Come here. Let me feel your head.
Please, Daddy, please.
Oh, you've got a fever.
Please,
now, you're
Daddy.
going to lie down, young lady.
We can't leave her down there, Dad. We can't.
Come along in your room.
It's awful, Dad. It's awful for her to be screaming and screaming and nobody listening or caring.
Margaret.
She'll choke when there isn't any more air and then she'll die.
You're going to lie down the rest of the afternoon before you make yourself sick.
No, I've got to dig her up. I've got to go back.
It's all those comic books you've read, darling. Now, I forbid you to leave the house. Close your eyes and take a nap like a good little girl.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
You are listening to The Screaming Woman, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Today begins Red Cross Month, a reminder to all Americans, whether or not you have ever benefited personally from the far-flung effective relief and rehabilitation programs of your Red Cross. Your month of March donation to the Red Cross, which you are urged to make, will keep Red Cross activities in progress. But you are urged to take a still more important step in addition. You are urged to be an active member of your local Red Cross chapter. Remember, the Red Cross is people helping people. Join and serve more effectively to benefit should the need arise. And now, we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Sherry Jackson, starring in tonight's production of The Screaming Woman, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
After a while, I stopped crying. I had to get back to the lot where that woman was screaming, but I was locked in. So I tied a sheet to the bed and let it out the window and shinnied down to the ground. Then I ran to the garage and got shovels and ran to the empty lot. The sun was almost down and it was getting cold. I started to dig fast. Hi, Maggie. It was Dippy Smith. He goes to my school. What you digging for? For a screaming woman. She's down on the ground, and I'm going to dig her up. You can help me dig, Dippy. There's an extra shovel. I don't hear nothing. Well, listen. Just listen. No, I don't hear nothing. Well, just wait. You will. Hey. There. Did you hear it? Hey, that's okay. Do it again. Do what again? The scream. Do it again. Go on. I'll give you this Aggie if you teach me to do it. That dog. Did you get that ventriloquist book for $10 from the Magic Company? You got one of those tin things in your mouth? I won't tell you unless you help me dig. Okay, swell, give me the shovel. And you gotta dig fast, like this. tired. I think I'll go home. Tippy, there really is a woman buried there. Oh, sure. Don't you believe me? I wasn't throwing my voice. Honest, I wasn't, Tippy. Hey, you couldn't talk and scream together. There really is a woman here. That's what I told you. Come on, let's dig. How's she breathing, you think? I think she's in the fort. Remember? Sure, that's where she is. 5 or 6 of us kids could get in it, so it's big enough.
Hey, what do you kids think you're doing?
Oh, hello, Mr. Kelly.
I'm tired of chasing you out of this lot. If one of you get hurt, maybe your folks would sue me.
But, Mr. Kelly, there's a woman screaming.
You kids beat it, you hear?
Yes, sir. But listen, Mr. Kelly, don't you hear her? There.
I don't hear anything, and neither do you. Now beat it.
Come on, Maggie. Oh, Mr. Kelly, somebody's got to dig her
Don't
up.
argue with me or I'll phone your folks. This is my property. Do I have to put up a fence? Why should I spend money to keep people off my property? I put up a fence.
Tippy, it's him. He's the one. Huh? He murdered Mrs. Kelly. He hit her on the head and stuck her in the fort and dumped loads of dirt on top. But she wasn't dead. She came to. Well, you saw him. He stood right there when she screamed and wouldn't pay any attention. Hey, that's right. He stood right there and lied to us. What do we do, Maggie? There's only one thing to do. We'll phone the police and tell them to come and arrest Mr. Kelly. They sure got here fast, Maggie. Don't make a sound. Stay down. Mr. Kelly might get desperate and shoot or something.
Oh, yes? Officer?
You, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, sir. Well, what can I do for you?
Is Mrs. Kelly at home this evening?
Why, sure.
May I see her, sir?
Why, sure. Hey, Anna! What's up?
Well, we got a call. Oh, good evening, ma'am.
What is it, officer?
Well, I'm sorry, folks. We got a call that Mrs. Kelly was buried alive in some empty lot.
Well,
It sounded like some kid calling, but we had to make sure. We always check.
I can't understand.
It's those blasted kids! If I ever catch them, I'll break their necks.
Maggie, she's a... Boy, if Kelly telephones my dad, I'll get a licking. What'll we do about the screaming woman? Oh, to heck with her. I'm not going near that lot again. Wait a minute, Dippy. I know why he didn't hear the screams. Kelly's sort of deaf. Mama says he's hard of hearing. Well, he heard us, didn't he? He heard the cop. He reads people's lips. But he couldn't hear the screaming woman because he couldn't see her. Dippy, come on. We gotta go dig some more. No, sir. We got to. We're in a pack of trouble because of your old darn old screaming woman. I'm not going to get in any more trouble. No, sir. So long, Maggie. And he went off and left me all alone. It was dark now, and Dad would be hunting for me. If he found me, I'd get a licking and be put to bed, and then nobody would help the screaming woman at all. There was only one last thing to do, to go all over the neighborhood from house to house and find out who was missing. So I rang bells and knocked, but everybody was home. And I was about to give up when I came to the Nesbitt's house. The house was quiet, like nobody was home. I saw a dim, spooky light inside somewhere. So I just kept knocking and knocking and knocking.
What do you want?
Nothing, Mr. Nesbitt. I want to see Mrs. Nesbitt.
She's not here. She's gone to the store.
Oh. Then she ought to be back pretty quick. I'll come in and wait.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'll just sit down here and wait. I sure like a rocking chair. Don't mind me. Go right ahead doing whatever you were doing, Mr. Nesbitt.
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh. It looks like you were packing or something with all those boxes and trunks around. Going away?
No. Mrs. Nesbitt's been sorting things out, getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Oh. Burning up in the fireplace.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Dad always burns our junk out in the alley. Cloth smells awful when it burns. I think
Look, kid, Helen may have gone on from the store to visit a friend.
Well, if she doesn't come soon, I'll leave.
Yeah, and I'll tell her you were here. What did you want to see her about?
Oh, nothing much. Hey, that's too bad.
What?
I guess you lost the key to that box. You had to break the lock.
It was broken already. I bet your folks don't know where you are, kid.
No, sir. They think I'm in bed. What friend did Mrs. Nesbit go visit?
I don't know. Look, kid, I ought to tell you. She won't be back tonight.
Oh?
No. She went to the store, like I said, but she was going from there over to Beechwood to visit her mother. On the bus. She'll be gone 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that's a shame.
Right.
Mama was expecting Mrs. Nesbit to come over tomorrow. Maybe just so.
You better not tell your mother. You see, it's kind of a secret about Helen going away. She doesn't want people to know for a while.
Oh.
You know how to keep a secret, kid.
I guess so.
I'll give you something for not telling. I'll give you a reward now. Let's see here. All right. Here's something for a kid. A doll.
A doll?
Yeah. Helen was going to give it to you. I heard her say when she was sorting this stuff. I'll give this to the little Leary girl.
That's funny. Mrs. Nesbit always calls me Margaret.
Well, sure. That's what she said. Margaret. Yeah, you see, it's quite a doll. Old-fashioned. It's made of leather, and the face is china. That's something. You see?
Uh-huh. Thank you, Mr. Nesbit.
It's a reward for not saying anything about Helen being gone, you understand? Now, come on. I'll step on the porch light.
Mr. Nesbit, I saw your dump truck in the lot this morning.
What do you mean? Were you in the lot this morning?
No, I was home. I looked out the window. Please, Mr. Nesbit, let go of my arm.
You playing out there today, Answer me.
Don't. That hurts. I wasn't playing. It's no fun now with the fort covered up and...
The fort? What's that?
Nothing. Nothing, Mr. Nesbit.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Nothing but that old concrete pipe.
You know something. That's why you came here. You've been snooping around that lot and you found out something. What do you know?
I don't know anything. Let me go. Mr. Nesbit, if you don't let me
go. Hey, come back. Come back, kid. I'll give you something else. Come back here. Come back.
Mr. Nesbit yelled because I kicked him and bit his hand. Then I ran, but I heard him run after me. It was dark and quiet and scary on the street, and more scary out there in the lot. I ran straight across the place where I'd heard the screaming, and it was so quiet. And all of a sudden, there was a man in the lot, right in front of me.
Margaret, stop.
Oh, Dad.
Margaret, where have you been? Do you have any idea how your mama's worried? Do you know how late it is?
Dad, he's after me.
We've been up and down alleys and clear down at Clark Street. I was about to call the police.
The screaming woman. It's Mrs. Nesbit who's down there.
I'm going to give you a good licking.
Mr. Nesbit killed her, and now he wants to kill me.
I've had all of this idiotic talk I can stand.
It's true. He said she's gone away, and he was burning her things. You've got to believe.
Margaret, that's enough. Now stop it right now. What have you got there? Where did you get that doll?
Mr. Nesbit.
I gave it to her, Leary. The kid stopped by the house, and I remembered Helen said she wanted to throw it away.
Helen said to throw it away?
He's lying, Dad. He gave it to me so I wouldn't tell about her. It was locked up in a box. He didn't have a key. Broke it open.
She's a high-strung kid, Leary. All the stuff she was telling me.
He's lying, Dad.
Why are you lying, Charlie?
Lying? Well, how do you get that?
Helen was going to give it to Margaret on her birthday. She told me so. It was a present I gave her a long time ago. She wouldn't have thrown it away any more than I'd thrown away the paperweight she gave me. Why are you lying, Charlie?
I'm not. Don't look at me like that, Leary. As God is my witness.
It's her, Dad. It's the screaming woman.
As God is your witness.
No! Leary! No!
Margaret, run to the house. Phone the police and tell them to hurry. Tell them we've got to dig.
Everything's fine. Everything's worked out keen. The screaming woman isn't screaming anymore. They got a lot of people down there digging her up.
Hey, swell! Hot dog!
And you know what else, Dippy? They uncovered our fort again. And now we'll be able to get the kids and play in it tomorrow.
Suspense, in which Sherry Jackson starred in The Screaming Woman by Ray Bradbury. Next week, the story of a man who tries to escape his past and is faced with no future. We call it Nobody Ever Quits. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and transcribed by Anthony Ellis. Adaptation was by Sylvia Richards. The music was composed by Lucien Marwick and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Paula Winslow, John Daner, Richard Beals, Howard McNear, Joe Cranston, Herb Butterfield, and Eve McVeigh. Join the FBI in Peace and War Wednesday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a man who tries to escape his past and is faced with no future. We call it Nobody Ever Quits. So now, starring Tom McKee, here is tonight's suspense play, Nobody Ever Quits.
Come right up. Fill her up.
Yes, sir.
Well, you better check the oil and water, too. Hey, you got any hot coffee inside?
Yeah, hot and black.
Oh, that's for me. Must be close to zero.
Not that bad. Down around 20. Got tonight, though. Radio says we might get a blizzard.
And they call this sunny California.
Well, we're more than 5,000 feet here. 6,500 at the top of the pass up the road a piece.
Yeah, I know. I just came over it.
Heading north?
Yeah, Vegas. How far is it from here?
Well, let's see. 260 from Victorville. Victorville's 32 from here. Matter, you lost?
What makes you think so?
Well, Cajon Pass is a direct route. Not many cars come over the mountains in the winter.
Say, ain't I seen you someplace before?
No, not unless you've been through here before.
No, never. I mean back east someplace. You come from back east?
Never been. Come from up north. Wairika.
Yeah, that's funny. You take that mustache off and you'd be a ringer for a kid I once knew back in Jersey City. Joey Perino. Funny.
Yeah. Lookalikes. You run into him sometime.
Yeah. You sure you were never back east?
Yeah, sure.
That's funny. Without that mustache, I'd say...
You'd be mistaken.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, where do I find the coffee?
Right inside, sir. Sally will take care of you.
Oh, you better check the battery and the tires, too, huh?
Sure thing.
Oh, I'll have a cup of black coffee,
Yes,
please.
sir.
In the mountain regions, tonight's storm is expected to bring at least 6 inches of snow down to about the 3,000-foot level. Now let's get back to the music.
Here you are.
Oh, thanks. This coffee feels good. It sounds like you might be snowed in.
Oh, won't be the first time.
That might be dangerous, considering...
Oh, no. I'm not expecting until April. We never get any snow that late. You better get Walt to put your chains on.
Oh, I haven't got any.
You're going to watch your step going down the hill, particularly Moonshove Curve. Bad in the snow like this.
Oh, thanks. I'll remember that. Is, he your husband?
Who?
The fella gassing me up, this, Walt.
Yeah?
You two all alone up here?
Oh, there's my dad. He'd better get a move on or he won't get up that mountain tonight.
Oh, where is he?
Went down to Victorville this afternoon for supplies. Seems to me you're asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, maybe I am. I'm sorry. Just that traveling alone like I am, you get lonely. It's nice to talk to someone.
Sure, I know it is.
You born around here?
No, up north.
Wairika?
Yeah. How'd you guess?
Your husband said that's where he comes from.
He did?
Yeah, doesn't he?
He said he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Say, you ever hear of a guy named Joey Perino?
No. Why should I?
Your husband looks like him.
What if he does?
Nothing. You ever been east?
Nope, never outside the state. You ask more questions than a cop.
Don't worry, I ain't no cop.
Well, it's all set to roll.
Oh, I need any oil?
No, full up.
How much do I owe you?
Let's see, 12 gallons, that'll be $3.95.
Was that plus the coffee?
Compliments to the management, the policy of the establishment. Free coffee during blizzards. All right, Sally?
Yeah, sure.
Here you are.
I get your change.
Say, don't bother. $3.95 for the gas and 10 cents for the coffee. I got a policy, too. I don't take handouts.
Oh, but Walt was only
I don't want to be owing anybody anything, sister. Particularly rats. He's saying you, Joey.
Joey? What do you mean, Walt, calling you Joey?
That's nuts.
He asked an awful lot of questions.
What kind of questions?
About me, about you. Said you told him you came from Wairika. Why'd you tell him that?
Look, honey, the guy's nuts. I never told him I came from Wairika.
You never told me where you came from either, Walt. But you said you came from back east.
Well, what difference does it make?
It didn't then when we first met. It doesn't now if you tell me it doesn't.
All right. I tell you it doesn't.
Okay. Forgive me for being foolish. That man had me scared. The way he asked questions, the way he looked at you. He called you a rat. He called you Joey.
Oh, he's nuts, honey. Come on. You better get to bed. It's going to be a long, cold night.
All right. You coming?
Yeah, in a little while. Won't be much more business in this storm.
You know something, Walt?
What?
I love you. I love you very much.
Got a fact?
Las Vegas Inn, good evening.
This is Victorville, California. I have a person-to-person call from Mr. Pirelli.
Hold the line, please. I'll try to locate Mr. Pirelli.
Hello.
Mr. Pirelli?
Yeah?
I have a long-distance call for you from Victorville, California.
Who's calling?
Just a moment, please. Who's calling, Mr. Pirelli? Mr. Battaglia.
Okay, operator, put him on.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello, Pete?
Yeah, Bat, what are you doing in Victorville? You're supposed to be here by dinner time.
Yeah, I know, but I sort of got lost in the mountains.
Yeah, figures. I know you get lost in Jersey City.
Yeah. But wait till you hear what I found.
A gold mine, I suppose.
No. Joey Perino.
You're kidding. Where?
In a gas station back in the hills.
You sure it's Joey?
Well, sure I'm sure. He's got a mustache, and he's got a wife, and he calls himself Walt something or other, but it's Joey, all right.
Did he recognize you?
Well, sure he did, but he didn't let on. I thought I'd better tell you.
Hey, wait a minute. If he recognized you, he'll take it on the lam.
Oh, not a chance, Pete. He's up there all alone with his wife. She's in a family way, and it's blowing up a blizzard. He wouldn't risk getting her out in this kind of weather.
Hey, where are you?
In a joint called, White Spot.
All right, now you sit tight. I'll be there in a couple hours.
Well, how are you going to do that?
I'm going to charter a plane.
But, boss, I'll be glad to handle him for you.
Hey, I'm sure you would, Bat, but this one I want to take care of myself, in my own way, if you get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I'll wait for you here.
What's the name of this place where he's at?
Walt Summit Service. Why?
Thought I might give him a ring before I leave.
Tip him off?
No, I'm going to offer him another chance.
Are you kidding?
What do you think? Walt Summit Service, good evening.
Hi, Joey.
You must have the wrong number. This is Walt Summit Service.
No, Joey. I got the right number. This is Big Pete, remember me? Pat just told me he was by your joint a little while ago.
There's some mistake. I don't know what you're talking about. This is Walt Summit Service.
Okay, Joey. If you want it that way, it's Walt Summit Service, and you're Walt. But back in Jersey City, you're still Joey Perino to all the boys. And Joey, the boys miss you. All of them. But me in particular. I miss you so much, Joey, I feel I just gotta talk to you.
I'm sorry. You have the wrong number.
Walt?
Yeah, honey?
Who was that?
Hey, you're supposed to be asleep.
I was just dozing off and the phone woke me up. Who was it, Walt?
Somebody had a wrong number.
Well, it took you long enough to tell him.
Guy was drunk or something.
Oh?
Look, you go back to sleep, honey.
Aren't you coming?
I don't feel very sleepy. I'll sit up a while and wait for your dad.
Oh, I don't think he'll try to come up the mountain tonight in the storm and all.
I'll sit up a while anyway. Keep the coffee hot in case he does.
All right, honey. But don't make it too late. I get lonely in here without you.
I know, darling. Look, you go to sleep now.
Warnings are flying from Point Conception to Point Doom. The Weather Bureau predicts that close on the heels of the present storm is another, developing off the coast of Northern California. This is an undisguised blessing for the farmer in the San Joaquin County, the growers in Orange County.
Walt Summit Service.
Hi, Joey.
Wrong number.
You should know to hang up on me, Joey.
Wrong number.
You listen to me, and you listen good. I want to talk to you, and I'm gonna.
You got the wrong number.
Okay, Joey, okay. Now you listen. You know a joint in Victorville called the White Spot?
Yeah, I know it.
Good. I'm at the airport in Vegas. I'm taking off for here in 5 minutes. You take off in 5 minutes too, Joey.
Look here.
Don't hang up on me again, Joey. You listen to me. It'll take you about the same time to get down off the mountain as it'll take me to fly to Victorville. You meet me in the White Spot. Now, that's an order.
I don't take orders from you anymore.
You'll take this one or I'll come up there and shove it down your throat.
Listen. Highway patrol car just pulled up outside.
Are you kidding, Joey? Well, you think you can scare me off with them two-bit cops?
I'm not trying to kid you, Pete.
That's my boy, Joey. You finally acknowledge your old boss, huh? Now, you ain't gonna squeal at him orange pickers, are you, Joey?
I'm not a squealer, Pete.
Ain't you?
No.
How do I know?
I'm telling you.
So how come you took a powder on me 2 years ago? How come you just blew?
I just wanted out.
Hey, Walt, you in there?
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Who are you talking to?
State cops, I told you.
Boy, you gotta tell him why you walked out on old Pete?
I don't tell nothing to nobody. I just want to be left alone. I want it out, I got out.
You ain't out, kid. Nobody ever quits.
Look, leave me alone, will you, Pete? Sure, so I work for you, I drove for you. I don't know nothing, I ain't talking.
Sure you ain't.
I gotta go now. Just let me alone, Pete. For the love of heaven, let me alone.
Well, there's someone at the door.
I know, honey.
Who you talking to now?
My wife, she's awake.
Well, you get rid of the cops, Joe, and you send your wife back to bed, and you meet me in 2 hours at the White Spot in Victorville. You got it? You better be there, Joey, or I'm coming up the hill for you.
Oh, Miss Parsons. Sorry I disturbed you, ma'am.
Oh, that's all right, Sergeant Toohey. Walt was on the...
Yes, Sergeant. Some crackpot. Second time he's called tonight. Got a wrong number, and he can't get out of his drunken head.
I just stopped by to see if you folks were all right.
Oh, sure. Snug as a bug in a rug.
Have a cup of coffee?
Well, yes, thanks, Miss Parsons. I guess maybe I dropped for that, too.
I thought maybe you might have an ulterior motive.
How's the weather outside?
Tain't fit night for man or motor car. Pass is close, and we won't be able to get plows through from the other side until tomorrow forenoon.
Well, that's what you can expect in February.
Yeah. All those jokes about unusual weather. A fellow lives his life in California like you and me, and well, we know how she goes, eh, won't?
That's a fact.
There you are, Sergeant. Sugar, cream, and hot, I hope.
Oh, wonderful, Mrs. Parsons. Oh, just as advertised.
Sally.
Yes, darling?
Like the sergeant says, ain't a fit night out for man or motor car.
Yes?
I thought maybe we might put him up for the night.
Well, of course.
Well, no, I wouldn't want to inconvenience you.
Oh, but it wouldn't
Not at all, Sergeant. No inconvenience at all. We sure like to have you stay.
Well, it's right nice of you, believe me, but I've got to get down on the road.
But it's after 10 now. You're off duty.
Yeah, and my relief comes from the other side of the mountain, and he ain't going to be able to get through, so I guess I'm still on duty.
Well, what is there to do now?
You never can tell in a storm like this. Orders are to patrol the highway.
But the highway's likely to be closed.
Right, so I'll patrol it until it is. Thanks for the coffee, Miss Parsons.
Sure you won't stay?
Well, thanks, but I can't.
Won't be any trouble, Sergeant.
Thanks, anyway. That car out front.
What car?
Well, a couple hours ago when I was going up the pass. That pink and gray job you were gassing up.
What about it?
In any trouble?
No.
I just wondered. Hope it got done all right. Cars like that weren't designed for this kind of country.
No, I guess they weren't.
Nor its driver.
Huh?
Screwball. Maybe a little loaded, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good night, folks. And thanks again for the coffee.
You're welcome.
Night, Sergeant. Well? I'll get it.
No, I'll get it. Walt Summit Service.
You ain't left yet, Joey? Get going.
You got the wrong number.
Again? What is it, darling?
A screwball.
What do you want?
Who knows? He's drunk. Come on, let's go to bed.
I'm not very sleepy now. I know what. We'll sit up and wait for Dad.
He won't make it now.
He might.
Let's go to bed, I said. Didn't you hear me?
I heard you. All right, we'll go to bed.
Well, go then. I gotta lock up.
All right, honey. Walt?
What?
What's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. I gotta lock up, that's all. Go on, go to bed. Stop asking a lot of stupid questions.
That'll be 20 cents for 3 minutes.
Yeah, Pete.
Well, how'd you guess it'd be me, Joey?
Let's cut the kitten.
I'm not kidding, Joey. I'm disappointed. I'm real disappointed. I fly all the way down here from Vegas just to talk to you. What happens? You ain't got the courtesy to come down the hill to see your pal. How come you ain't here, Joey?
I'm not coming, Pete.
You're not?
No.
Well, then I guess I'll just have to come up there.
Nobody's asking you.
Joey, that's no way to talk.
Lay off, will you, Pete? I ain't done nothing to you.
You walked out on me, Joey. Nobody walks out on Big Pete. I'll see you in an hour. Oh, and Joey, Don't try taking the powder. A fella at the bar just told me the pass is closed and the only way out is down the hill, Joey.
I know it, but it's...
Want to change your mind and come on down, Joey? Joe. Joey?
Were you flashing, sir?
Yeah, I was cut off, operator.
Just a moment and I'll try to connect you. I'm sorry, sir. There seems to be trouble on that line. Probably the storm.
Thanks.
He ain't coming?
Don't worry, it couldn't be better. Line just went out in a storm.
And the pass is blocked. Oh, what a sweet setup.
Yeah, ain't it? All right, come on, let's go.
A pleasure.
Is that you, honey?
Yeah.
Come to bed.
I can't sleep.
Why not?
I'm worried.
About what? Where are you going? What are you putting on your coat for?
I gotta go down the hill.
What's the matter, Walt?
I'm worried about your dad, honey. I'm going to look for him.
Now, you know he's probably staying down at the Rances. If you're worried, telephone him.
No, I tried. Line's out. I gotta go look for him.
But, Walt, you can't leave me here alone.
I gotta, honey. I gotta.
Oh, Walt, I'm afraid.
There's nothing to be scared of. You'll be safe here.
Your gun. Why are you taking your gun?
I feel better with a gun.
Looking for Dad? Walt, you're keeping something from me. Who's been telephoning all night? Has it got something to do with that man who was here this evening? Tell me, Walt, you've got to tell me.
There's nothing to tell. Now, look, go back to sleep.
No, I'm going with you.
You can't go out in this storm.
If you're going to look for Dad, I'm going with you. After all, he's my father.
Get back in bed, honey. Please.
You promise you won't go out?
I can't. I gotta go. I gotta go alone.
Then it isn't Dad. It's something else.
Look, honey, don't...
Hey, how come the place all lit up like a Christmas tree? Can't be that much business tonight.
Oh, Dad, thank goodness you're here. This silly husband of mine was going out to look for you. He was afraid you'd skidded into the canyon or something.
Old mountain man like me? Oh, fiddlesticks. Glad you dressed, old Walt. I promised Sergeant Toohey I'd send you down the road to give him a hand.
Accident?
Yep. Went through the guardrail on Mule's Shoe Curve. Darn fool was driving without chains. One of these fancy new two-tone jobs.
Dad, was it a pink and gray hardtop convertible?
Well, Toohey didn't specify, but he recognized the driver. Big shot gangster from back east, he said. Didn't know the other fellow.
Were they hurt?
Hurt? Yeah. They're both as dead as last week's hamburgers.
Oh, okay, I'll get going. Honey, will you put the gun back in the drawer? I'll be back in a little while.
All right, honey.
Dad.
Yep.
See she gets to bed, will you? She hasn't had much sleep tonight.
Don't worry. I'll sleep now.
Good. You know something?
What?
I love you. I love you very much.
Suspense, in which Tom McKee starred in tonight's presentation of Nobody Ever Quits. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Script written by William N. Robeson. The music was composed by Lucian Morwick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Featured in the cast were Peter Leeds, Joyce McCluskey, Jack Crucian, Larry Thor, Vic Rodman, Irene Barton, Jan Marlowe, and Bill Anders. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
The story of two young men and a frightening dare. We call it The Game. So now, starring Sam Edwards and Gil Stratton Jr., here is tonight's suspense play, The Game. There were two of them. They stood on the corner of Main and Elm, leaning back against the wall, indolent. The summer sun warm, bringing to them the astringent odor of soft tar in the cracks of the sidewalk. It was 2 o'clock by the hands of the jeweler's clock a few doors down the street. And it was at 2 o'clock, quite innocently at first, that the dreadful game began.
What do you want to do, Pen?
I don't know. You?
No, I don't know.
I guess we could have a couple of games of ping pong. You got the dough?
40 cents.
We could, Red.
I don't know. No, I don't feel like it.
Okay. Hey, we could shoot some pool.
What's the matter? You always want to play games. Kid stuff. You know something?
What?
I feel like getting drunk.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
You're kidding. What do you want to get drunk for?
For fun.
Some fun.
My folks won't be back till later tonight.
Not me, boy. Not me.
I can get hold of a bottle.
Not me, boy.
Chicken?
That's me.
Okay, so long.
Hey, Red. Wait a minute. You kidding? What do you want to do that for?
You got any better ideas what to do?
No, but...
Okay, I'll see you.
You know what would happen if they ever found out?
They won't find out. You can stay over at my house tonight. Call your folks and nobody will know.
That's crazy.
No, it isn't. Don't you ever want to do something different? We're not kids. Maybe you are. Maybe you need a couple of drinks to grow up.
Big man, I'm 2 weeks older than you.
Not up here, boy. Not up here.
Nuts to you.
And they walked slowly, carrying the idea to a white house with gray trim. A house well lived in, empty now, but waiting. And the boys went in, upstairs, and to a room papered with ships and pennants, signs and maps. The one, Red, disappeared for a few minutes. The other tried to become interested in a book of fighting ships. He was afraid of what was to come, knowing why, and not quite knowing.
That your father's?
No, the gardener hid it in the woodshed. I found it a couple of weeks ago, hid it somewhere else. Boy, I bet that fractured him. How do you like it?
I don't care.
Straight?
Sure.
Water chaser?
What about you?
No water for me.
Same thing, then.
Sit down. We'll talk.
They drank, and they didn't like it, but they'd started the game and they couldn't stop. A small clock with an owl frontpiece ticked above them, the eyes of the bird metronomically switching from side to side. A car passed occasionally, and there was a tension until the sound of tire and engine faded away. It didn't take too long for the warmth to grow, and the eyes to become hot, the tongue loose.
Thanks.
Boy, not bad, huh? Feel pretty good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Boy, Elaine. Wouldn't be bad having her up here now, huh?
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
You ever take her out?
A couple of times, I guess.
All right, huh? Nick?
No, not much.
Oh, I thought you two were like that. That's what I heard last term.
You kidding?
You know what's the matter with you, Pen?
What?
You're soft. I'm your friend, boy, I can tell you. What the other guys say. Think.
You know? Guts, boy. Not all there, not enough. I'm your friend, Penny. I like you. But you gotta have guts.
I've got guts.
Not enough. And that's what all the guys think. Pen's okay, but kind of soft, you know? Chicken.
Yeah?
I'm telling you. I don't want to be a pal of a guy who's soft. You gotta be hard, be like the other guys.
Well, how do you figure all this? Nobody asked you. I know what I am. I know. I'm not soft, not chicken.
You're afraid to get drunk with me.
I'm getting drunk with you.
Because you were afraid I'd think you were chicken, that's why. That's why.
You're crazy.
I've seen you afraid, Penny. I had to explain it to the guys.
When? When?
That time we went shooting ducks with your old man's shotgun. You were chicken then.
You're crazy.
Well, the guys thought you were. Afraid of the gun.
That's not chicken.
Well, that's what I told them. But I'm not sure.
Let's forget it.
You can't run out on that, boy. I'm your friend, Pen. I'm telling you for your own good.
Okay. You've told me. I'm chicken, no guts. Forget it.
Afraid of a gun. You and me could never go hunting up in the mountains, I'll tell you that.
Cut it out.
You're a kid. You're chicken.
You want to fight? Is that what you want? You want to? Because if you do,
What for? That doesn't mean anything. Kid stuff. I got a better idea. You want to really do something that'll show, boy? That'll really show it?
Do what?
Play a game. You like games. Real easy game to learn. Nothing to it. Here. Have a drink. Sit down.
Game?
Mm-hmm. I read about it a while back. Russian roulette.
Never heard of it. Some kind of gambling?
I'll tell you. It's real easy. First, you get a gun. A revolver, Penny. Bullet gun.
So what?
You take one bullet and you leave it in the gun, see? Then we take turns.
What kind of a crazy game is that?
We take turns pointing at our heads and pulling the trigger. If nothing happens to you, I take the gun, spin the cylinder, and point it at my head and shoot.
You call that a game?
Sure. See which one goes chicken first. You never know where the bullet is, and if you spin the cylinder and the bullet comes up on your turn, bluey.
That's nuts.
Well, in this book, it went on a long time. Then one guy got like you'd get. He was chicken and he folded up.
Listen, I'm sick of hearing you say that. I'm sick of it, you hear? You want to know something? You'd get chicken before me. You.
Oh, I wouldn't do it to you, Pen. Don't worry. It wouldn't be fair. Forget it.
Wait a minute now. You started this, so go ahead and finish it. Your old man got a gun? Has he?
Sure.
Okay. You want to be crazy? Okay. Go ahead. Get the gun. Go ahead. Well, go on. Get it. Let's start playing.
Red smiled a smile of pity. With deliberate ease, he sauntered from the room. Pin might have seen him stagger a moment as he reached the door, but Pin wasn't looking. He was noticing, for the first time, his hands lying flattened on the table, disassociated. And there was a scar on the right index finger. He got it when he cut himself 12 years before on his first borrowed scout knife. Now, the scar, a memory on a trigger finger. He didn't look up again until Red came back with the gun.
38. That's the best gun. Want to hold it?
No.
I figured you wouldn't. It's okay. We'll forget it.
Mm-mm. Go ahead. Take out the bullets.
Okay. Take out 5 and leave 1, huh, Penny?
Yeah. Take out 5, leave 1.
One bullet. For you or for me. Okay?
Okay.
The gun rested muzzle to the wall, in the center of the table bearing scratches made by a 3-year-old in a forgotten moment of high experience. The boys sat opposite each other looking down at the gun. And the gun waited.
You want to go first?
Doesn't make any difference.
Me either.
Flip a coin.
Okay. Call.
Heads. Okay. I'll take the first shot.
There was a ceremony to the game then. Sportsmanship with the toss of a coin, a drink of whiskey, the glass put down, and next to come, the lifting of the gun. Pim stared at it and thought how he could best reach out to take the handle, gracefully, practically. He had never held a revolver in his life.
I've got to spin the cylinder?
Yeah. No, the other way. Now.
What's the odds the bullet comes up when I shoot?
I don't know. 1 in 6, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
He was a careful boy, and so he didn't put the muzzle to his head immediately. At this point of the game, there was a numbness which did not allow for speculation of pain, mother, father. Rather, he was surprised by the weight of the gun, the physical oneness with it lying in his hand. He was afraid of it and fascinated in his fear. Red watched, his mouth open a little, eyes reddened with drinking, but bright, watchful, seeing the friend of his youth slowly raise the gun, unsteady, and awkwardly turning the barrel to his head. He wet his lips and waited.
Didn't go off.
No. How'd it feel, Pen?
I don't know.
Were you scared?
I guess so. I don't know.
You sure looked scared. Real white. I didn't think you'd do it. You took long enough.
You're doing a lot of talking. You scared? It's your turn.
Give me the gun. Boy, that's a real gun. Remember when we were kids? Cap pistols. Bet you never thought we'd be doing this.
No.
Okay. My turn. Where are you, baby? Where are you? You want to make a side bet on this one?
Who's going to pay me if you lose?
Watch, Ben. When you make up your mind to do it, do it quick, see? Like this. Now, you sweat it out. Pretty good game, huh? I'll make you one bet, though.
What's that?
You crack before I do.
You're nuts.
A buck? A buck?
Sure. A buck.
The game had taken another turn. It presented an added incentive to win. $1 bet that one boy would be a coward. A boy would lose his nerve, wouldn't have the guts to take another chance at blowing his brains out. Good bet, that. The room was too warm, and outside the middle afternoon sun blazed down hot on the heavy sycamore trees, dusty and still. A 12-year-old passed by on the street, whistling tunelessly, on his way to the drugstore for a soda.
Go ahead. Or do you want to quit now?
I'll do it. Don't worry. I'm not quitting.
Boy, I'll say this for you. A guy who's as scared of guns as you're doing all right. It gets tougher now, though. It's all in the luck, you know. You lucky, Pen?
Yeah. I'm lucky.
That's good. Maybe you need another drink, huh?
No. I don't want any more.
Okay. Well?
Red?
What's the idea, huh? What are you pointing it at me for?
You scared?
No, I'm not scared.
Maybe we should play it this way for a while. I shoot at you and you shoot at me.
That's not the game.
Why not? Same thing.
No. That'd be like murder. You want to play, you play it right.
Who says the way we've been playing is right?
Oh, I get it. You're trying to get out of taking your next shot.
I'm asking you, who says the way we're playing is right?
Listen, will you quit pointing it at me?
What difference does it make? Just tell me that.
It's the difference. We're playing Russian roulette. That's the difference. If you want to quit, say so.
I'm not quitting.
Okay, then, take your shot.
It was a thing to be well considered on the part of Red. The present abstract quality of self-destruction was one thing, but a gun pointed at him, gun held in another hand. This was not a game of his choosing, and he would have no part of it. Suddenly he knew himself to be sober, terribly sober. And because of this and the fact that the game had mushroomed beyond his understanding, there was no stopping the play. He knew that Pin was sober, too. And as from a great distance he saw his friend raise the gun, but steadily this time, pressure whitening the index finger, the muzzle touching just at a pulsing vein he had noticed in Pin's temple.
You're a lucky guy.
Yeah.
I'm lucky, too.
You better be.
My turn now. My turn. Why didn't he quit? He's never had guts. Why didn't he quit? Maybe he's so drunk he hasn't got the sense. No, he's not drunk. Why didn't he quit? It's my turn. I gotta do it. He'd tell everyone if I didn't. He'd tell them all and they'd laugh. I don't know. It feels like the bullet might be coming up. Not yet, Ben. Not yet. I gotta smile like I was enjoying it. This'll be something to tell our kids, huh, Pen?
Yeah, sure will. How long are you going to take?
What's the matter? Make you nervous?
Why should I be nervous? It's your shot.
Okay, then shut up, huh?
Scared. Red's scared. He doesn't want to do it. I'm not the only one. All this big talk. He's no more than me. All that...
It was at that moment that Pin discovered this truth, that he knew he wanted to, he could quit the game. And as he looked at Red, he became aware of a great anger. It had no direction, no apparent reason, but it filled him and made him strong.
Let's quit, Red.
You're crazy.
I want to quit.
nuts to you. It's my shot.
I don't care. We're quitting.
You quit when it's your shot. I'll take care of myself.
I'm telling you, Red, put the gun down.
Drop dead.
Put it down.
You're chicken. Yeah. I'll kill you.
You better answer the phone.
Hello? Oh, hello, Mom. Oh, fine. No, I'm with Penn. No, I'm fine. Oh, out of breath. We've been playing. Kind of rough, I guess. Oh, sure, Mom. Everything's fine. Okay. Okay, Mom. Sure, Mom. So long.
Red stood by the telephone for a long time, and he cried as he hadn't cried for a long time. Pin stayed in the room. He felt it, too, in his throat, the thickness, the tight-held tears. Neither boy knew what it was or why. And then after a while, it was calm again. Red came back in.
That was Mom.
Oh?
She said we could go to the tavern for dinner if you like. And charge it.
That'd be okay, Red. Swell.
Yeah. Guess we better clean up, huh?
Guess we'd better.
They cleaned up, not saying much to each other. They felt very close and were not able to express their closeness. Then there was a last thing to do and the last part of the game to be played. They had to know. So they walked to the edge of the town into a shallow ravine. Red took the gun from his pocket. He still had the shot he'd never fired at himself. He aimed at a half-burned tree stump some 30 yards away and slowly began to squeeze the trigger.
Suspense, in which Sam Edwards and Gil Stratton Jr. starred in tonight's presentation of The Game. Next Tuesday, the story of a rehearsal and the performance of murder. We call it The Cellar. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who wrote tonight's play. The music was composed by Lee Stevens and Lucien Morawick and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast was Mr. John Daner. This is the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a rehearsal and a performance of murder. We call it The Cellar. So now, starring Mr. Eric Snowden, here is tonight's suspense play, The Cellar.
I've got to put her away, and that's a fact. I've thought about it for a long time. 16 years to be exact. We've been married 20, and I think I owe it to myself to do something about it now. It's the principle of the thing, if you follow me. First of all, I don't like her voice. Jaw. Horrible sound. She goes at it morning, noon, and night. You never heard the like. Or maybe you did. It goes something like this.
Oscar, how many times have I got to tell you not to put your feet on the attic? You think all I've got to do is to spend my days cleaning off your dirty boot marks. And for heaven's sake, I don't know, I'm sure why I've got to do everything in the house. It's bad enough the way I scrimp and save week in and week out to keep a crust of bread in our mouths. Never a nope, I'm sure, of having somebody to help with the work. I really don't know why you don't get a better position, always dreaming of what we're going to do. If you'd only ask the backbone, my old dad had to
Bloody awful, ain't it? I worked it out on paper. There's 60 seconds in a minute and 3,600 seconds in an hour and 86,400 seconds in 24 hours. You listen to that for 20 years and you go off your bleeding nut. Sooner or later it's got to stop, and that's a fact. And there's other things. She put some kind of sheep oil muck on her hands before going to bed. And who gets smeared with it? Who else?
Goodness knows. I try to keep myself looking halfway decent. It's not like I can afford a manicure twice a week like Mrs. Plimpton. I should think you'd be grateful. Fat chap for that.
You think that's not a good reason to do in your life? I don't mind telling you, it helps. And she's always putting her feet on me back. Says they're cold and wants me to warm them for her. They're cold, all right. Like a blinking mackerel. So's my back. And she thinks she's hot stuff about keeping accounts. Always guessing about saving. And I get $2 bob a week spending money. I ask her, how can a man live on that? It's a perishing injustice. So all in all, that's why I gotta kill her. Everything's ready, and I suppose I might as well get on with it. Well, there. That looks about right. Millie? Millie?
What is it, Oscar?
Could you come down for a minute, love? In the cellar, sweetheart. Oh, it'll only take half a mo. I got something to show you down here. Keep your head on, love. It won't be long.
Sure, I don't know why I put up with it, you messing about down here while I'm... Oscar Wigan, what are you doing with my cellar? Why is it all dug up like that? You go on, Barney. Now, you put every scrap of that dirt back in the hole this minute. You hear me? I never.
All right, love. I will. Don't worry.
And don't you dare come upstairs till you've cleaned off your boots. I will not have that mess all over me clean kitchen floor.
All right, old cough drop. I just wanted to get an idea of the size. It looks all right.
What you talking about? Right for what?
You, dear.
Nothing. You've been drinking. You've been drinking, that's what.
Not a drop. I'm a teetotal, and you know that, Mill. No, Mill. The time has come, as the walrus said to the carpenter, your time.
You pick up that spade this instant and fill in every bit of that hole. And no argument, you hear?
All right, old car.
When you're done, you'll march yourself upstairs and wash your hands and face. Because supper will be on in 10 minutes, and I will not have it spoiled.
Mill, I've got something I've got to say to you.
Hey?
I'm fed up with your jaw. Fed to the teeth, and that's a fact.
How dare you? Who do you think you're talking to?
I'm fed up with your greasy hands, and I'm fed up with your clammy feet. But most of all, Mill, I'm fed up with you.
Oscar?
So I'm going to do you in.
Oscar, don't you look at me like that. Don't you touch me. And I'll have the law on you.
I don't give a fig for you, and I don't give a fig for the law. I worked it all out. And if you think you can get up them stairs before I bash your head in, you're very much mistaken.
Oh, it's going to murder me! Oh, it's going to murder me! Help me!
Oh, you've got an horrible voice. Always used to say, Oscar, if ever you do anything in this world, do it right. I remembered her words as I covered up the mortal remains of my ever-loving ex, Millie Widgeon. I did her a corker. One good whack on the S, so there wasn't much of a mess, if you follow my meaning. Took me about 15 minutes to cover her up, nice and neat like. And then I went upstairs. Don't mind telling you, it gave me a bit of a turn when I heard the front door. I hadn't had time to wash up yet, but I wasn't too worried. Not until I saw who was standing outside. It was a copper. Gormley, by name. He's got the beat on my square.
Evening, Mr. Widgeon.
Evening, Mr. Gormley.
Sorry to have to trouble you, but I had a complaint.
Sorry to hear that, Mr. Gormley.
Complaint states that an audible row was heard emanating from your house.
A row?
The screams, more like.
Screams? Whose?
If that's the nature of the inquiry, Mr. Widgeon, I'd be obliged if you could shed some light.
Happy to, if I knew how I could help.
The Mrs. at home?
No, she ran off to the picture palace. You know these women in their ruddy pictures.
What time did she go?
I don't know. About an hour ago.
No one else here?
Not a living soul except myself.
You been doing any screaming, Mr. Widgeon?
Not bloody likely. What do you take me for?
Well, in the nature of the inquiry, Mr. Widgeon, no offence, I hope.
None took, Mr. Gormley.
Seeing as how I have me duty to perform, I hope you'll allow me to have a look about the premises, Mr. Widgeon.
Seems to me a man's got his rights, but I always hold to aid in the law. If you're looking as aiding, help yourself, Mr. Gormley. You mind telling me what you're looking for?
Two neighbours swear they heard the sounds coming from here. Maybe it was on the radio.
Not on.
It'll save me making a report, Mr. Widgeon. Very obliging of you, I'm sure. Well, I don't think there's a need to bother you anymore. I'll just, Hello. Cut yourself?
Huh? Oh, that no. Cutting up a bit of beef for grub. Thought I'd give the missus a nice surprise when she gets home. I was in the kitchen when you knocked.
Sorry to have disturbed you, Mr. Widgeon.
All right. Makes the bloke feel safer knowing there's law nearby.
Nice of you to say so, Mr. Widgeon. Good evening.
Evening, Mr. Gormley. That was a close one, all right. But I handled it nicely. The worst of it was over. Copper had been and gone, and I'd have at least 24 hours to clear out. Maybe longer. At 8 o'clock, like I'd planned it, Aggie Jones turned up. Oh, what a bit of strawberry jam. Lovely. I'd met her a couple of months before, and I hadn't told her what I had in mind. But I knew she wouldn't care when she heard. After all, it was all done for her, mostly.
Oh, Oscar, I do love you.
Heavenly, ain't it?
When's your wife coming home? Oh, I do feel something awful carrying on this way.
Aggie, love, sit down. I've something to say to you. Aggie, will you run off with me?
Run away? With you? But how can I? You're a married man, and what would my mum and dad think?
Aggie, love, all I have is yours. You don't have to worry about a blinking thing. Everything is taken care of.
Taken care of? But how? What's your wife going to say?
She ain't going to say nothing. Aggie, for love of you, I done her in.
You done her in?
That's right.
Where is she? What did you do with her?
You were just about sitting over her now. She's buried in the cellar.
Oh, how horrible. You did it for me, Oscar.
For you, sweetheart.
Oh, how you must love me.
Never a truer word. Now, listen here, Duck. It's all arranged. In the morning, I'm taking the savings out, and you and me are buzzing off. There's a boat sailing for South America, to the Argentine at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll be on it.
No, I don't know what my mum and dad will say.
Don't tell them. Write to them. From the Argentine.
Oh, Oscar, you make it so hard for a girl to say no.
Give us a kiss and no more argy-bargy. Golly, who's that?
Oh, Oscar.
You up in the kitchen. Shan't be a sec. All right. Now, get on coming.
Good evening, Oscar.
Oh, it's you.
Where's me daughter?
Elf, won't be home for a bit.
Then I'll wait. Oh, close the door, Oscar. There's a drop down me back.
It was that horrible old cow, Mrs. Quill, poor old Millie's mother. And when she says she's going to wait, she means it. Last time it took 2 weeks to get rid of her. Now, what was I going to do about her?
You are listening to The Cellar, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
You might ask me to sit down, Oscar Widgeon.
Oh, yes. Sit down, Mother, dear.
Still daydreaming, I see. Not much improvement in you since the last time I was here.
Oh, Mill and me, we was going out when she came back. Why don't you drop in over the weekend? She'd love to see you. You can stay for a bit if you like.
I've travelled across half of London to visit my daughter. I've no intention of going home tonight. You can go out if you want to, Oscar. Millie'll stay here and talk to her mother.
Oh.
I haven't had me supper yet. Bought a nice bit of smoked haddock. I'll go in and put it on.
No. I mean, you sit here comfortable like. I'll do it.
You? Don't make me laugh. You think I want me haddock ruined?
I said, Mother dear, I'll cook your ruddy haddock for you. Take it or leave it.
How dare you? How dare you address me in that fashion?
Go boil your egg.
Oh, you nasty little worm. Just wait till Millie hears about this.
No, you wait. Matter of fact, this is my house, and I didn't hear no invitation for you to come in tonight.
You've been drinking.
Once and for all, I have not been drinking. Now, buzz off.
I will not leave this house until my daughter comes in that door.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds, Mother dear, to off it. Then I'm going to land you one you won't forget.
Oh.
1, 2,
You dare to hit an old woman.
3, 4,
Don't lay an hand on me.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that's something I wanted to do for a long time. All clear, Aggie, love.
I was that frightened.
Don't you worry your pretty head. Everything's right as rain. Now, you'll have to be off. Wouldn't do to have anybody else snooping around and find you here. Now, not a word to anyone, see? You need to be at the Marble Arch Station at 4 o'clock tomorrow, see?
But what about me clothes, Oscar? Mum will ask where I'm going.
Leave it to me. I'll buy you all the clothes you want. That's one thing I've got to say for poor old Millie. She wasn't a very nourishing woman, but she was a saving one.
Oh, I've always wanted to go abroad. Oh, but ain't it awful? Imagine me going with a married man and a murderer. You're all going to marry me, aren't you, Oscar?
Marry you? What a question. I got my morals, same as the next one. Of course I'm going to marry you.
Oh, Oscar, I know it's wicked, but I can't wait till tomorrow.
You dream about it, love, and before you know it, it'll be tomorrow. Now, go on. You better leave by the back door. Next morning at 10, I was in the bank. I had my slip made out to withdraw my savings, and a nice little drop it was, too. 800 quid. I was waiting for the money when the tallest bloke comes up to me from behind the gate. All smiles and treacle he was.
Mr. Widgeon?
That's right.
How do you do? I'm Mr. Forfall, the manager. I understand that you wish to withdraw your savings.
That's right.
I trust you found no fault with our service?
No, just what's mine. That's all.
Oh, of course, naturally. May I inquire as to the reason you're withdrawing the funds?
Does there have to be a reason?
Oh, no, not at all. But since you've been such a faithful depositor for so many years...
Oh, well, the truth is, Mr. Paw, me and the missus thought we'd take a bit of an holiday. You know, the Riviera. A little sunshine and parley-boo.
Oh, yes, I see. Oh, then, of course, you won't leave the sun here with us.
No, I want it all.
But, my dear sir, you can't spend it abroad.
Who says I can't?
The government, sir, the government. A maximum of £50 may be taken out of the country.
Yes. What are you giving me?
But surely you know that it's common knowledge.
Not to me it ain't. It's my money. I can do as I please with it.
Here in England, yes, but you can't take it out to go.
It's a ruddy injustice, that's what it is.
I can't argue the point, sir. I'm conservative.
And that's your hard luck. Now, you hand over my money, see? What I do with it is my business.
Up to it. Just as you please, Mr. Widgeon. Ah, it's Mr. Easterday. Oh, Mr. Easterday, I'd like to see
I'm done. They've done me. What in blazes am I going to do now? I shoved the 800 quid in my pocket and went home. And that's what I should never have done. Because when I got there... the old cow was standing in front of the door and the copper Gormley was with her.
There he is, Constable. There he is. Ask him what he's done with my little daughter. Ask him.
Ask mine, you meddling old hag.
Now then. No language, if you please, Mr. Widgeon. This here lady's upset because she has knocked on the door and there's no answer to move in.
Well, what's that to her?
She's worried about Mrs. Widgeon.
It's me own flesh and blood I'm worrying about. I've got a right.
She ain't home. That's all.
Then where is she?
She went out. Shopping.
He's lying. She was home last night and he put me out by force. Threatened to do me a mischief. He's done something to her, you mark my words.
How would you like a fat lip?
Now then.
Look here, I ain't got time to stand here arguing.
Constable, you go in that house and see what's what. He wouldn't let me in the kitchen last night. Afraid I'd see the blood and gore where he's hacked her to pieces. You go in there.
Mr. Widgeon wouldn't do a thing like that, Mum. Now, why don't you go to the corner house and have a nice cup of tea? And by the time you're finished, your daughter will be home just like Mr. Widgeon said.
That's right.
I ain't moving from here till I see her alive with my own eyes.
It's all one with me, but you ain't setting foot inside. I'm not having you break up my happy home.
He's afraid. He's afraid to let me in. He knows what I'll find. He knows. Oh, look at him standing there. The stain of his horrible deed still in his wicked eyes.
Mr. Widgeon, I hate to ask you, but to oblige, will you let this lady come in and satisfy herself?
You seen for yourself, Mr. Gormley. You seen last night. You're the law. If you can't be satisfied, who can? I ask you.
Ah, get him. He's got few witness eyes like he had my poor Millie. Talk a winkle off a pilly would, but not me. I'm arguing I am.
Mr. Ritchie, to oblige, better have a look at that. Oh, God, blimey, what I have to put up with from this old gas bag. All right. But it's the last time. Don't say I didn't warn you. She went through the house like a ruddy bloodhound, and there wasn't nothing. Not an hair out of place. Mr. Gormley followed her with me, and I could see it was a very aggravating position for him. Mr. Gormley likes to keep the peace, but by the time we got to the cellar, he was clear out of patience. Well, satisfied? Are you satisfied? You want to look in the coal bin? Go on. Get your hands nice and dirty. Sorry to have troubled you, Mr. Ritchie. Don't mention it. As for you, Mrs. Quill, I don't want to see your nasty face around here until I give the word. You stay out of Millie's and my way, see? And if you don't, I'll have you put in charge. Them's my rights, ain't they, Mr. Gormley? In the manner of speaking, disturbing the peace, Mr. Ritchie. Right. And she's disturbing my peace. Now, I'll thank you to leave my house. Of course, when you come right down to it, I suppose they're right. In a way, I am a dreamer. Always have been. To tell the truth, I ain't got no £800. Not even 80. There ain't no Eddie Jones. But I wish there was. There's only Millie's mother and Millie, and then greasy hands and cold feet and jaw. And if I aim for what I'm going to do, it'll be worth it. There. That looks about right. Millie?
What is it, Doctor?
Could you come down for a minute, love? In the cellar, sweetheart. It'll only take half a mo. I've got something to show you down here.
One thing is another. What's my things to the bone? Time to get off the bone. You don't give a brass farthing, no. You think I haven't got better things to do than buzz up and down every time you want something?
Keep your ear on, love. It won't be long.
It's a bit of consideration. I'm fair worn out. I'm sure I don't know why I put up with it. Oscar Richard, what are you doing with my cellar? Why is it all dug up like that? You want varnish? Now you put every scrap of dirt back in the old this minute. You hear me? Oh, I never.
I just wanted to get an idea of the size. It looks about right.
What are you talking about? Right for what?
For you, dear.
Suspense, in which Mr. Eric Snowden starred in tonight's presentation of The Cellar. Next week, the story of a handcuffed man and a woman who holds the key to his freedom. We call it Give Me Liberty. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis, who wrote tonight's play. The music was composed by Lucian Morowitz and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Jeanette Nolan, John Boehner, Betty Harford, Paula Winslow, and Ramsey Hill.
Suspense is presented by the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Services Network, Europe.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a handicapped man and the woman who holds the key to his freedom. We call it Give Me Liberty. So now, starring Mr. Tony Barrett, here is tonight's suspense play, Give Me Liberty.
I embezzled $250,000. I want you to know that needed brains, planning, patience. I devoted 3 years of my life to the trick, and I got away with it. $250,000. Well, of course, they caught me very easily, but they couldn't find the money. I wouldn't tell them where it was. I got 7 years for it. My right wrist was handcuffed to the left wrist of a detective, and they put me aboard a train bound for the penitentiary. I could see that the detective had instructions to soften me up. He was much, much too kind.
You comfortable, Mr. French? You want a magazine? Anything?
I'd like to be able to lift my hand without raising yours into the air. Can't you guide me without being quite so attached to me?
Why, sure, I guess we can work that out. Tell you what, you sit next to the window. I'll kind of box you in, and that way you can wear the cuffs all by yourself and nobody loses.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me get my keys. There. Funny thing, most guys say the biggest trouble is when you read a paper. 5 inches of chain don't give you much room to turn a page.
I'm not worrying. I'll have 7 years for reading.
7 years and $250,000. Say, how smart does a guy have to be to get his hooks on so much lettuce?
Did you like some of it?
Are you kidding?
Well, all right, let's make a deal. You drop the key to these things on the floor, and then go have yourself a nice lunch. Huh?
Oh, sure. And when do I see Mr. French again?
When I meet you to pay off.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be taking kind of a chance there, would I?
You know, to tell the truth, you wouldn't be taking a chance at all.
How come?
Oh, why should I escape? Be on the run the rest of my life? No. No, this has to go according to plan. Planning. That's what gives a man his future.
But you got a long stretch ahead. How do you know that whoever's holding the stuff won't double?
It was a stupid conversation, and I was only making words. I looked out at the fields and brooks and houses rushing past. I wouldn't see these things for 7 years, not counting time off for good behavior. But then I'd be free again, and I'd have my $250,000. Not a bad salary, huh? No, I'd use my brains for myself this time.
Some guys will do anything for dough. Now take you. 7 years.
Everybody, hold on! There's another train on the track!
Our car lay on its side in flames, and all passengers who could move got through the broken windows.
French, give me a hand.
It was a detective, his legs pinned by the wreckage.
Move, will you? You want me to be roasted?
What can I do with my hands like this? Where do you carry the key?
What do you want with a key? You can pull me up by an arm, and you grab me by the hand.
Get out of me! We'll both die here if I can't use my hands.
You can use them good enough. Where's that key? I can't find it. French, it ain't in my pockets. Look on the floor.
You're a liar.
The fire. Get me out of here, please.
The only weapon was a suitcase. I kicked him in the face. I smashed the suitcase down on his head. And he didn't have the key. I emptied his pockets down to the last crumb of tobacco while the fire crept closer. He hadn't the key to the handcuffs. And I wanted it. Because this wouldn't be an escape. This would be a disappearance. What a chance. What a chance. I would have my liberty and I'd have my money.
Is there anybody in that car? Is there anybody? Hey, Pete, bring that extinguisher over this way, will you?
I threw away his pistol. I wouldn't need a gun. I used my head. I squeezed my college ring on his finger. I switched wallets.
Is there anybody in that car? Hey, Pete, this way. Over here.
There was a conductor out there, a crowd of passengers. I got to the opposite side of the car. No one. Not a soul, and there wasn't a splinter of glass left in the window. I slid down the side of the car. I cleared the wheels. I struck the ground running. A few moments, a few hundred steps, and I was safe in the darkness. I was free. They'd think I was dead. And I had $250,000.
Listening to Give Me Liberty, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tomorrow night, CBS Radio's FBI in Peace and War goes into a car-stealing racket that involves a youth from one of the community's most respected families. Don't miss the facts about the neighborhood boy on the FBI in Peace and War tomorrow night on most of these same stations. And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Tony Barrett, starring in tonight's production of Give Me Liberty, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
My first job after escaping was to break out of those manacles. I sat in a wheat field, holding my arms overhead so the blood would run from my hands and wrists and leave them slim. Then I tried to pull them off. It didn't work. And I couldn't snap the chain. I twisted it, I pulled at it, I tried to fling my hands apart. And it wouldn't break. I rubbed it against stones until my skin was torn and bleeding, and it wouldn't break. By this time it was morning. It wasn't until then that I knew I had to have help. I pushed through the wheat and the corn beyond it. I stumbled down a slope into a barnyard. A woman was standing near one of the hen houses, a pan of chicken feed in her hand.
What do you want?
There was nothing I could say. She had seen the handcuffs.
Come on. What do you want?
I'm hungry.
Where are you from? How'd you get away?
Oh, we were going up to the prison. There was an accident.
Well, what do you want from me?
Look, you lend me a file, and if you could spare some food, I'll be glad to pay you.
You don't have to pay me for anything. Wait here. Jack, you watch him.
She went into the house, and the dog got down on its belly and put its nose between its paws. And its eyes never left my face for a minute. Then through the stillness, I heard the cranking of an old-fashioned wall telephone, and I knew what she was doing. I couldn't get them off. I couldn't get the handcuffs off. I couldn't get anything to eat. I couldn't show myself. You know what it means to see food all about you, not be able to buy it. Don't tell me I could have eaten corn, fruit, and roots. I can tell you the nature of every dog in that area, the feel of every barbed wire fence, and the sound of every rifle and shotgun.
That was him, Harry! That was him down in the brush! Get around on the other side!
I crept into a village one night. I forced up the window of a hardware store. I wanted a file, just a file. You know what they carry in hardware stores these days? Glassware, kitchen gadgets, garden tools, seeds, ovens, rat poisons, dressers. And I moved behind a counter. A hardware store has to have a file somewhere. My foot struck a wire stretched across the floor. How tired have you been? Have you ever been so tired that you thought you'd die? You wanted to die? On the evening of the fourth day of my liberty, I crawled quietly to the garbage can back of a roadside diner. I began to paw about for something I could eat. There was a step behind me. I turned. It was a boy. We looked at each other for a long moment. He was waiting for me to speak. I said, "Hello, Sonny."
Hello?
You live in this neighborhood?
Yeah?
I don't. I'm traveling.
With handcuffs on?
Oh, these, yeah. Well, a friend put them on me for a joke. Say, that gives me an idea. Sonny, look, would you do me a big favor? Huh?
Depends on how big.
I'll say it's worth $10. You get me a file or chop them off with an axe or something like that, huh?
No.
I'll let you keep them there. They're fun.
No.
Well, then would you do something else for me?
Depends.
Well, I'm a little embarrassed about going in a lunch wagon like this. Would you step in there and buy a few hamburgers for me? Huh?
How much?
Same $10.
Let's see the money.
I got it right here in my pocket, ready to jump into your hand. A lot of things a boy can buy with $10. Here we are.
How do I know it's good?
Don't you trust me?
Drop it on the ground.
Drop it? Why?
You drop it and back away, then I'll pick it up.
Oh, say, that's very smart. All right, how's that? Far enough?
I guess.
He picked it up, began to walk around the diner. When he was out of reach, he started to run.
Hi! There's a convict out back! How's a guy with handcuffs on?
I got away, and I couldn't tear them off. I couldn't. I had $250,000 buried away, and it was worthless to me. Do you know what can be bought with $250,000? A man's soul can be bought for less, but I couldn't buy a 10-cent file. I spent that night in a nest of cast-off railroad ties stacked to the siding. When I opened my eyes in the morning, I had company. A very tough-looking hobo in blue jeans and a navy coat. She was counting my money, smoothing each bill with loving care. She grinned when she saw that I was awake.
Good morning, chum. You sleep like an honest man. What's the matter, chum? Never speak till they bring your orange juice?
Look, I'm in trouble. I want you to help me.
To get the bracelets off?
Yes.
That chum, wouldn't that be kind of silly? I might lose all this hard-earned dough.
Look, there's more where that came from. A lot more. I'll make you rich.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. So long, chum.
Oh, listen. I've got $250,000.
Yeah, I know. I get feelings
Look,
like that.
come back, will you? It's true. Don't you read the papers? I'm Earl French.
I never heard of you.
Look, just go into town and buy one of the newspapers 6 days ago. I stole $250,000.
Mm-hmm. And you're wearing those things so they won't pick your own pockets.
Oh, please, don't try to be clever. Don't you understand? I died in the train wreck near Scottsville.
You're sure about that, chum? You died only a few days ago?
No, they only think I did. Look, get those newspapers and come back here with a file and some food.
Chum, don't order me around. Just take it easy. Maybe I'll be back.
I waited for her all through the long, blistering day, crouching within the four walls of railroad ties. I knew she'd be back. She couldn't resist it. I knew she'd be back.
Chum, it seems you were a very important guy in your time.
You saw the papers, huh?
Yeah, and I got news for you. Mr. French, you are now burned to a crisp. That's the way they found you in the train.
Recognize me by the ring on my finger?
Yeah, you're dead, all right. You and $250,000.
All right. We'll come to that later. Look, get to work with a file.
Now, look, you're giving me orders again. I told you I don't like that.
Please, give me the file.
It's right here in my jeans. That's where it's going to stay until you lead me to my share of that dough.
You'll get it.
Chum, you listen. I can pick up 500 fish by turning in an escaped prisoner. Or you can dig up that treasure chest and buy this file for half the dough.
It's over 100 miles away. I can't ride a train or a bus with these on my wrists.
It's okay, chum. We'll walk. I've done it before.
But we'll be seen.
Not at night.
Oh, how will I eat? Where will we sleep?
You'll sleep in the woods and I'll bring your grub to you. Me, I'll sleep in town where I'll be snug and safe. You don't take this file from me, chum. Not till I see my half of the dough.
And that's how it was. That same evening, we started a walk. At first, it wasn't as bad as I made it sound. It gave me time to think. And I knew I'd think of something.
Don't start thinking I trust you, chum. I don't. A lot of things can happen before we get there.
No, I'll do what's fair. We'll split.
If we don't, I'll split your skull. And don't kid yourself that I won't. I've been waiting a long time for a break like this.
We walked, with the handcuffs digging so deep into my flesh that I began to believe they were part of me. Yeah, she brought me food, but she wouldn't come close enough to hand it to me. And every time I reached for anything, it was torture. My hands and wrists, they were a mass of misery. As though I were a pet animal on a leash. My friend always walked 6 paces behind me. Oh, she was smart. I realized I had to get away from her, and soon. The morning I decided to do it, she found me a shack to hole up in. I could hardly wait for her to leave, go into town.
Oh, this place looks good. I'll meet you back here tonight.
All right. See you tonight.
That's the way I like you, chum. Nice and agreeable.
Well, why not? Why shouldn't I be? I'll see you tonight as usual.
Sure. Is there anything special you'd like me to bring you to eat?
No, nothing special.
Chum, I think you better turn around.
Well, why?
Because...
When I awoke with a dull ache filling my head, I found myself neatly trussed up. I could move a little, but not enough to get free. You talk about female intuition. She had guessed that I was going to try to get away from her, and she just beat me to it. I didn't give up, though. She would have to make one mistake. The next night, we'd stop for a rest.
How can you be sure the stuff is still there?
Look, it's safe.
How do you know? What kind of a place did you hide it in?
You'll see. Now, get out that file.
When I see the dough, little chum...
Take them off, will you? How long do you think...
Shut up! You'll wake up the neighbors. Now move.
No.
I said move.
No! That money is mine. You'll never see it unless I want you to, and we'll go to it the way I say.
Chum, you're making me mad.
You get out that file and take these off. Now go on, get it out. I can give orders, too. What do you think you are, an animal trainer?
Now, that's not a bad idea.
Is it? But it happens I'm not an animal. And it also happens... What's that for? You can't frighten me with a knife. You use that on me and we both lose out.
You gonna get up?
No.
This'll hurt.
I'll kill you someday. I swear I'll kill you.
I had a husband like you. Brave enough outside, but once anybody put on the pressure...
You talk too much. Go on. I'm calling your bluff. I'm sick of hearing you talk.
All right.
Boy, keep away from me. We walked. How I hated her. And she was sure she'd beat me down altogether because she didn't even bother now to make lousy jokes at me anymore. Oh, she was very quiet after that. And a little careless. I stopped now and then. She'd bump into me in the darkness, but I just never had a chance to get my hands on her. And then a couple of mornings later, I said, here it is.
What?
The money.
Where?
Was standing over it.
Are you trying to kid me? We're standing in the middle of the highway. You didn't do any digging here, chum.
Look, there's a culvert running under the road here, a 24-inch pipe. Come on into the ditch, I'll show you.
You didn't stick that dough in the pipe, it had washed away.
It's not in the pipe. It's in a deep crevice between the pipe and the concrete. Pull out some of those stones.
You pull them out.
With these hands, I can't touch anything without screaming, pull them out.
Prince, help me. If this is a gag...
She believed me. She had to. She saw the truth in my eyes. The money was there, my $250,000. She bent over to tug at the stones. She turned her back to me for the first time. That was it. That was the mistake I was waiting for. I sprang forward and her hand comes down on her head. The back of her head. All the pain in my wrist, but I didn't care. I just didn't care. She was dead. I couldn't move. My hands, my poor hands, I had to wait till the shock drained out of them. I reached into her pockets for the file. It isn't there. Must be in this one. No file. She hasn't got a file. She never had one. A cheat. A dirty little cheat. Come on, Cellar. Come on, babies. 250,000 beautiful little babies. Come on. I can't get a hold on it. Need another few inches. I can't with these handcuffs on. I need one arm free. You handcuffs, you don't break the chain. I have to rip my hands off. I'll get the money. I want my money. I want my money.
That's the way I found him, Chief. Sitting in the ditch beside the dead girl. He hasn't stopped battling since.
All right. Lock him up. I'll notify the city authorities. Tell them we got Earl French here.
Suspense, in which Mr. Tony Barrett starred in tonight's presentation of Give Me Liberty. Next week, Suspense will bring you a repeat performance of one of the most controversial stories ever heard over your radio. It's called 0 Hour, written by Mr. Ray Bradbury. Be sure to listen to 0 Hour. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written by Herb Meadows. Music was composed by Lucien Moraweck and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Michael Ann Barrett, Lou Merrill, Helen Klebe, Richard Beals, and Jack Carroll. Ride a real squad car with Night Watch, Thursdays on the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, Suspense brings you a repeat performance of one of the most controversial plays ever presented over your radio. It is called 0 Hour by Ray Bradbury. After the initial performance, a great number of letters were received. Some comments were highly complimentary, and an almost equal number were not. However, because so many of you did write asking to hear this provocative work of fiction again, we present it, and hope that those of you who have not heard it before will write us your opinion. So now, starring Miss Eva Ashdown, here is tonight's suspense play, 0 Hour. What a game. Such excitement they hadn't known in years. Mink talked earnestly to someone near the rose bush, though no one was there. Then the two little girls, shouting, laughing at each other. Such fun. Such tremulous joy. Mink ran into the house all dirt and sweat. For her few years, she was loud and strong and definite. And her mother, Mrs. Morris, peeling vegetables at the sink, watched with amusement as her daughter threw into the sack old pots and tools and things which were relegated to child play.
Oh, my goodness, Mink, what's going on?
Oh, the most exciting game ever, just ever.
Oh?
It's all right, I take these things, Mom.
Well, just don't dent them and it's all right.
Thanks, Mom, we won't. Bye.
All right, dear. Oh, what's the name of the game, dear?
Invasion.
Invasion?
Invasion. And in the garden now, a serious concentration. Mink with an assortment of pots, pans, and wrenches, forks, spoons. And her friend Anna, a little younger, tongue in teeth, taking notes on a pad.
This, and this. What's it say next? Wait a minute, Mink. Well, hurry up. 4, 9, 7, A and B and X. 4, 9, 7, A and B and X. A fork and a string and a hexagonal. A fork and a string and a hexagonal. What do we do next, Mr. Drill?
And then Mink talking to the rose bush again. And to her own satisfaction, at least, receiving some kind of answer which she relayed to Anna.
Triangle. How do you spell it? Oh, any old way. Doesn't matter. Now write beam. I haven't got triangle yet. Well, hurry. 0 hours by 5 o'clock. We haven't got all day.
Then time out from invasion for lunch. Mink bolted down the soup and coincidentally crammed a sandwich into her mouth.
Now you slow down, Mink. Whatever's waiting will wait a few minutes longer.
But I can't. Drill's waiting for me.
Drill? Well, that's a peculiar name. Is he a new boy in the neighborhood, dear?
He's new, all right.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen him. Which one is Drill?
Oh, he's just around. You'll make fun. Everybody makes fun. All the kids do.
Well, I don't think that's very nice. Is Drill shy?
Well, yes, in a way. I don't know. I gotta go now, Mom, if we're gonna have the invasion.
Now, you finish your milk, miss. Who's invading what?
Martians invading Earth from up there.
Oh, I see. And, Drill's a Martian?
I think so. He's had a very hard time getting here.
I should imagine.
They couldn't figure out a way to attack Earth. How to get in or something. And Drill says they have to do it by surprise. And you can get help from your enemy.
Oh, a fifth column, huh?
Uh-huh. And all this time they haven't been able to figure out how to attack until one day they thought of children.
Well, that was bright of them.
And they thought of how grown-ups are so busy, they never look under rose bushes or on lawns.
Oh, that's where Drill is now, under the rose bush?
Uh-huh, with all his friends, too. And there's something about kids under 11 with imagination. It's real funny to hear Drill talk.
Well, it must be. You better run along out if you want to have your invasion before dark. Oh, and bath tonight. School tomorrow, you know.
Drill says I won't have to take any more baths.
Oh, he does he?
And we can stay up till 10 o'clock.
Well, your friend, Mr. Drill, had better mind his P's and Q's, or I'm going to call up his mother.
That's just it. Drill says you're dangerous because you don't believe in Martians. Just like you think Drill's a kid. Well, he's not. And they're going to let us run the world when they get in. All of us kids. And I might even be queen.
Well, that's nice, dear. Now run along.
Mom?
What is it, dear?
Mom, when the invasion comes, we'll have to get rid of you and Daddy. But I'll be sure it won't hurt very much.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. Hello?
Hello, Mary. How are things in New York?
Oh, Helen, how nice. Are you in town?
Oh, no, I'm in Danbury. I was just thinking of you and thought I'd call.
Oh, it's long distance, so you shouldn't.
Oh, I can afford 3 minutes. How's Henry?
Fine. And Bill?
Oh, just fine. What about Mink?
Oh, wonderful. Noisier than ever. Oh, she's got a new game now. It's taken the place of hopscotch. Invasion.
Is she playing that too?
Well, yes. Are yours?
Same thing. Some kind of geometric jacks, I suppose. Isn't it a scream? You know, all the kids their age are playing it up here. Timmy's got a crush on some guy named Drill. I think that's what it is.
Oh, it must be a new password. Mink likes him, too.
Oh, I didn't know it got to New York. Word of mouth, I suppose. You know, kids. Funny thing, I got a letter from my sister in Boston. She says her kids are playing it, too. It's just sweeping the country.
Well, I wonder where they learned it.
Don't ask me. All I know is what Timmy told me at lunch. 0 hours at 5 o'clock.
When?
Today. That's when the invasion's going to be. Oh, these kids and their imagination.
And they talked a little more. Schoolgirl friends. Casual woman talk. But Mrs. Morris was thoughtful. She was thinking of other things, of adults, of children with imagination, rose bushes, dimensions. She thought of how much she had forgotten about being a child, and she wondered about Mink and all the kids who were at that moment playing Invasion.
A kiss for Mink.
I will, and to Bill and the kids.
Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.
An hour drowsed by. It was 3 o'clock. There was an occasional hum inside the coolness of the house as a car passed outside. The street was lined with good, green, and peaceful trees. And all across the city, in other gardens, in other places, children under 11 were excitedly playing a game, talking to rose bushes and grass lawns, trees and shrubs. Even children in apartment houses, high in the air, conferring with potted plants, cactus, and ivy. Mrs. Morris finished her housework and went to the kitchen.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hi, Mom. Can I have a glass of water?
Of course, I'll get it.
Ion squared, 27. A over 56 to the 7th degree, x T7.
What, dear?
Oh, nothing, Mom.
Oh, here you are.
Thanks.
How are things going?
Who?
The, invasion.
Oh, that.
Yes, that.
Almost finished. When everything's right, Grill said we should be ready on time.
5 o'clock?
That's right. How'd you know?
Helen called me from Danbury. She says that, Timmy's playing it, too.
Hey, that's keen.
I guess all the kids are, aren't they?
No, not all of them. Not guys like Jimmy Wood and Bob Wilson. They're growing up and they make fun of us. They're worse than parents. They just won't believe in drill. They're so smart just because they're growing up. You'd think they'd know better. They were little only a couple of years ago. Well, we'll get rid of them first. Drill says it's okay to kill them first.
Mink, I don't like that kind of talk. Do you hear me? I don't like it at all.
No,
now,
Mom.
I mean it. You keep on that way and there'll be no more playing. You'll have to tell Anna to go home and you'll stay inside until bedtime.
I'm sorry.
Well, I should think so.
Thanks for the water, Mom.
Mink.
Yes, Mom?
What did those numbers mean?
What numbers?
Those numbers you were saying to yourself before.
Oh, that. They're the things we have to do to get Drill and his friends out. That's all.
Look, dear, why don't you and Anna go down to the drugstore and get some ice cream? You don't even have to use your allowance. I'll pay for it.
Hadn't got time, Mom. Thanks.
Well, I'd never believe I'd hear you say that.
I gotta go now, Mom.
Oh, wait a minute. Mink, I want you to tell me the truth. What is this invasion silliness?
It isn't silly. It's just a game, that's all. Mom, we're just playing an invasion. Excuse me, I gotta get back now. I'll see you later.
It was a game called Invasion. Mrs. Morris's little girl, Mink, was playing it. So was Mink's friend Anna and all the other children under 11. It was called Invasion, and the 0 hour was to be at 5 o'clock. Mrs. Morris was disturbed. She wasn't sure why, but there was something about parents shutting ears and eyes to what was happening. And because she was disturbed, she did something she didn't usually do. She called her husband at the office.
Hello, dear.
Oh, hello, Henry. I'm sorry to bother you, but Miss Maxon said you weren't busy.
Oh, not too. I should be able to get home early today. Everything all right?
Yes.
You all right?
I'm fine.
Mink?
Oh, she's... Henry?
What?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute. That's all.
Listen, are you sure you're all right?
Oh, yes.
Mink been getting on your nerves?
Not really.
As you tell her to behave, or when I come home, she and I are going to have a talk. As a matter of fact, she's been a little fresh lately, and I don't think it's good.
Well, she's playing outside. She's fine.
Honey, is something wrong?
Why, no, I told you I was just thinking about you and wanted to talk, that's all. Nothing wrong with that.
Not a thing.
You go back to your work, dear. I'll see you soon.
All right.
What time do you think you'll be home?
Oh, about 5, maybe a little earlier.
5. Oh.
Hey, what? Come on, what?
Well, I was just thinking. Nothing really, just Mink and you and me. Goodbye, dear.
You are okay, aren't you?
Yes, I'm fine. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Another hour passed, and it was 4:30. The day began to wane. The sun lowered in the peaceful blue sky. Shadows lengthened on the green lawn. Outside it was quiet. The two little girls more intent than ever upon their endless movement of design and pattern with the implements before them. Mrs. Morris watched from the window, and she had never known Mink to have such powers of concentration. She had turned on the radio and sat drinking a cup of coffee and turned over her thoughts.
Children. Children love and hate side by side. Sometimes children love you and hate you all in half a second. Strange children. Do they ever forget or forgive the whippings and the harsh, strict words of command? I wonder. How can you forget or forgive those over and above you? Those tall, silly dictators. Those parents. Mom! Oh, what is it, dear?
Have we got a piece of lead pipe and a hammer?
Well, I don't know. There might be in the garage. What do you want them for?
We just need them.
Well, if you tell me what for, dear, maybe I can...
Thanks, Mom.
Is something wrong?
We'll start halfway. If we get them all the way through, it'd be easier. Then all the others could come through after him.
Well, can I help?
Thanks, Mom. I can fix it.
You better get through, Mink. I want you to take your bath before your father comes home.
All right.
Now, he's coming home early. And Mink!
Mink had disappeared behind the shrubs, and Mrs. Morris knew it was ridiculous to make an issue of it. Besides, what was the issue? Invasion? Drill? 0 hour? Unaccountably, a cool breeze came up, and although normally for that time of year it would have been a relief, Mrs. Morris felt a chill. She closed the window. Time passed. A curious, waiting silence came upon the street, deepening. Then from the living room, Mrs. Morris heard... "5:00. 0 hour. It had come, and now it had gone. But was the clock right? And Mrs. Morris, knowing how foolish it was, knowing it, went to the phone and dialed.
Silly. It's silly.
When you hear the tone, the time will be exactly 4:54 and 20 seconds.
"4:54 and 20 seconds. And Mrs. Morris knew that it wasn't as silly as she had thought, because it wasn't 5:00 yet. Not 0 hour yet. Then the car drove up into the driveway.
Hi, Mink. How's it going? Hi, Anna.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Mr. Morris.
Got a kiss for your old man?
Haven't got time now, Daddy.
Well, that's a nice thing. What are you doing?
We're playing Invasion.
Oh, swell. Your mother in the house?
Uh-huh.
Okay, be good.
I will. There are in a few minutes, Daddy.
All right, I'll be ready.
Mrs. Morris heard him chuckle. Then his steps up the walk to the front door.
Married?
I'm in the living room, dear.
Oh, hi. Our daughter didn't have time for a kiss. How about you?
A hard day?
Well, not particularly.
Would you like a cocktail?
No, you read my mind.
Martini?
Perfect. Anything exciting happened today?
No. Oh, Helen called.
Oh.
From Danbury. I told her she was crazy, but she just felt like calling.
Like you calling me this afternoon crazy, huh? Hey, what was that all about?
Well, I told you. I just wanted to.
Hey, incidentally, what's this new game the kids are playing? Invasion. That's a nice depressing thought. Is she all right? Come to think of it, she looked kind of funny.
She's all right. What's the time, Henry?
Couple of minutes after 5. Why?
No, the clock's wrong. By your watch.
Oh, I've got 2 minutes, too. I'm probably slow. You got something on the stove?
No, I just wondered.
Honey. Hey, look at me. What's the matter?
Nothing, really.
No,
really.
Mink's been up to something.
No, of course
then
not.
What?
I guess I'm a little tired, upset, that's all.
You want to go out for dinner?
Oh, no, I've got a steak here.
I'll tell you what, I'll barbecue it. How'll that be?
Oh, fine. What was that?
What?
Well, I thought I heard something.
Well, I didn't.
I must have been imagining it.
Hey, you are jumpy. Why don't you have a drink? It'll do you good.
No, I don't want one. What's the time?
Mary, what is this? Now, I mean it. Something's wrong, and I want to know.
Silly. It's so silly. I'm on edge, that's all.
Mary.
I am.
I don't like this. That kid's done something, hasn't she? I'm going to get her in.
No, Henry, please, don't. She hasn't. It's nothing at all.
What's that?
I don't know.
Those kids haven't got anything dangerous out there, have they? I noticed a lot of junk lying around.
I thought it was a game. She wouldn't have done it herself. They made her do it.
What the devil?
Well, maybe you better go out and tell them to stop playing now. It's after 5. You tell me to put off the invasion until tomorrow. Tell her.
It is coming from outside. What are they up to? I'd better take a look. Mink! Bombs! Bombs! They're bombing!
No, it's upstairs. I know it is. In the attic. That's where it is.
Mary, it is not up there. Mary!
He ran after her, confused, not a little frightened. She seemed to know something.
In the attic. That's where it is?
Her mind had worked that quickly. Any excuse to get him away from the outside, to get him upstairs to the attic in time. And outside there were more explosions, and they could hear the children screaming with delight.
It is not in the attic, it's outside. Mink's out there. What's the matter with you?
No. I'll show you. Hurry. Get inside, quick. Now we're safe until...
Are you crazy? Why did you throw that key away?
Oh, maybe we can sneak out later. Maybe we can escape.
For heaven's sake, the kid's out there. Do you want her to get...
Oh, you don't know. You don't. We've got to stay here. We've got to. It's horrible. We've got to. You've got to stay here with me.
At this point, I don't know how the devil I can get out. Where's that light?
Oh, be quiet. Please be quiet. They'll hear us. They'll find us. Oh, Henry, please.
Well, who's going to answer the telephone? There's that noise again. It's in this house. Mary, what is... Mary, what's happening? You know, now answer me. Stop it, Mary, stop it. Somebody's downstairs. Who's down there? Who?
Oh, no. Oh, hush. Please be quiet. They might go away. Please.
And between his wife's terror and the electric humming from below, Mr. Morris felt a great fear. They trembled together in silence in the attic, Mr. and Mrs. Morris, parents of the little girl. Then they heard steps coming up the stairs, and a voice.
Mommy, Daddy, where are you?
And a queer, cold light became visible under the door crack. The strange odor and the alien sound of eagerness in Mink's voice was almost more than they could bear. Each wanted to scream.
Mommy, Daddy.
And another sound. And the attic lock melted. Mink, with bright little eyes and tousled hair, peered inside. And behind her, tall, wavering blue shadows. Frightful shadows.
Suspense, in which Miss Isa Ashdown starred in tonight's presentation of 0 Hour. Suspense is produced and directed by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written by Ray Bradbury and adapted by Mr. Ellis. The music was composed by Leif Stevens and Lucien Morowitz and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear, Paula Winslow, Eve McVeigh, John Daner, and Beverly Handley. Sound patterns were by Bill James and Ray Kemper.
Now, Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present Suspense. Autolite brings you John Lund in Lunch Kit. Suspense.
Why didn't he stop it? Father was getting angry. And Gus, he was so sensitive, especially at a time like this. I'll tell him to stop honking that horn, Dad. Please do, Jonathan. Yes, please do. I'll call down to him. I'll tell him to stop. Hey, Mike!
Oh, there you are, Jonathan.
Cut out that horn. Didn't I tell you this guy was sick?
But we're going to be late for work.
I'll be down in a few minutes. Take it easy.
You better hurry up. I wouldn't want to be late, Jonathan.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to be late, Jonathan.
Who is this Mike? Did he cause any trouble?
Oh, no, Father. He won't cause any trouble.
Well, you've got to be careful, son. He wouldn't understand. There aren't many who would understand.
You've got to be careful.
I only did as you said, Dad. I made friends with one of the old-timers down at the plant. I drive him to work every night. He works in the same unit with me. Now I can't get rid of him.
You sure about him, kid?
Sure, I'm sure about him.
Well, what does he think you're doing up here?
Well, I told him a friend of mine lives here. Sick friend. It's all right, Dad.
Very well. How's it coming, Gus?
Almost finished. Gus was a mechanic, an old-timer. My father had real respect for his ability. Gus had chipped out the inside of the thermos bottle. Now he was working on the detonator. Looked like the old-fashioned pocket watch my dad wore. Now Gus started winding it. Somehow, that kind of got me. I wish my father had never started this thing. I wish he didn't believe the way he did about atomic fission, destroying the world. I wish he was like everybody else, that I wasn't his son.
Hey, Jonathan, what time you got?
Huh?
What time do you have? What's the matter with you? Are you getting too nervous for me, son?
Nervous? Oh, don't worry about me being nervous. It's, 8:29.
8:29. Okay, kid. What are you sweating about?
Who, me?
Your dad ain't sweating. This is no time to be nervous, Jonathan. She'll go off at 6:30 tomorrow morning. Is that okay?
Fine, Gus, fine.
Okay, kid?
Sure. Okay. Now Gus cleared a little space on the table and went to a steel cupboard. He came back with a metal jug cradled in his arm. My father leaned forward. I felt myself tightening up inside. Without thinking about it, I pulled a pack of cigarettes out of my jacket, put one in my mouth. Then as I was about to strike the match, Gus looked up. My father started coming toward me, the veins throbbing in his neck.
Put that match away, you fool. What's wrong with you? Haven't you any sense at all?
What do you mean?
You tell him, Gus.
Kid, if one spark gets into this nitro, they won't find enough of us here to fill that matchbox.
Oh, the unlit cigarette turned to garbage in my mouth. I spit it out and stamped it to pieces on the cement floor. My father and Gus looked at each other. Gus grinned. My father's face, stone hard, didn't change. He looked at me like I was still a little boy. Okay. They'd find out. When the nighttime came at the plant, it'd be up to me.
Your lunch, kid.
Here it is. I just bought it this afternoon.
Oh, look how pretty it is. It's a shame to spoil it.
All right, finish with it, Gus. This is not a time for jokes.
Funny about Gus and his jokes. He didn't believe in this thing at all. He'd sell out to anybody. Money. Just give him money. But you had to admire what he could do. He opened the lunch kit and took the bottle out. He screwed the detonator into the cap, and when it fitted right, he laid it aside. Then he put a siphon into the thermos bottle and opened a jug of nitroglycerin. He poured out a thick, yellowish liquid, and when the thermos bottle was full, he put the top on the jug and carried it back to the cupboard.
You better be far away when this goes off, kid.
I'll be far away, all right.
Jonathan is a bright boy, Gus. I've taught him well.
Gus didn't say anything after that. He bent down over his table and his eyes tightened up till you could barely see him. He worked quick. You could see he knew what he was doing. And watching him, I began to feel better. Then he was finished. He put the thermos bottle of nitro back inside the lunch kit, and the sandwich, and the orange. Then he closed the lunch kit and handed it to me.
Here you are, kid. Don't drop it.
I won't.
Now, son?
Yes, Dad?
Look at me. Dad, look back at me.
Yes?
It will all work out all right, won't it, son?
Yes, Dad. It'll be all right.
You will make no mistakes.
I'll be careful.
And you'll be here tomorrow morning?
I'll be here.
Good. And then perhaps we'll go away together, you and I.
That'll be fine.
Oh, there's your friend again.
All right, Jonathan, get on with it before the old fool gets us all into trouble. sick.
We're going to be late for work.
Well, you should have taken a bus.
What about you?
I'd have been late. So what?
So what? That ain't no attitude.
All right. Here. Open up the dashboard compartment. I want to put this lunch kit in.
Okay.
Be careful.
Oh, it's a nice new one.
The drive to the plant was something I'd never forget. What if I ran into something? The tire blew. A speck of dust got into my eye and I ran off the road. I stayed off the main highway. Too much traffic.
This ain't the right road, Jonathan.
I drove under 25 miles an hour all the way.
Can't you go any faster? We're going to be late, Jonathan.
And all the time the old man kept talking.
You young fellas of today, you're a strange, disturbing lot.
Talk.
You've a fever in your blood. You're restless and you don't know why. You're a strange lot.
Yeah, strange lot.
You've a fever in your blood.
Keep quiet. What's that?
What?
The noise. That rattling.
Well, I don't know, Jonathan. Sounds like your lunch kit.
Come here.
What are you worrying about that for? We're going to be late.
Stop telling me we're going to be late. Stop that jabbering.
Yes, Jonathan.
You think the lunch kit will be all right now?
You packed it in pretty well.
Okay. If you hear it rattling again, let me know right away. You hear, Mike? We came to the plant. The night shift guys were already at work. The parking lot was jammed with their cars. We were late, but I was glad of that. Now I'd be able to park near the entrance. Later on, I'd be able to get out in a hurry. Okay, Mike, this is it. I'm sorry I made you late.
Oh, that's all right, Jonathan. Mind if I go back with you in the morning?
Okay. Just be here prompt. I won't wait for you. I took the lunch kit and started for the main gate. The guard was standing there, inspecting everybody with a flashlight. I grinned at him and snapped the lunch kit open. How are you tonight?
Okay. Not eating much, are you?
No, not much.
Ought to. Put some weight on you. Pass.
I changed my clothes quickly and left the lunch kit in my locker. I figured I must look pretty haggard, so before going into the plant, I went to the washroom and washed my wrists. And I saw I'd left my wristwatch in my street clothes. It was against the rules to go back into the locker room until the shift was over. Now, all night long, I wouldn't know what time it was. I'd have to ask, have to guess. Oh, Father wouldn't like that at all. He was so careless. I began noticing kind of an ache in the pit of my stomach. Oh, mustn't get sick tonight. I drank a lot of water, and the pain left me. Then I went back into my unit. Oh, this was going to be a bad night. I was all raw nerves. It was like being in the middle of a nightmare. A nightmare that wouldn't end. My hands were all thumbs. I couldn't seem to make them do anything right. Oh, Father wouldn't like the way I was doing things. I couldn't stand it much longer.
Hey, Jonathan!
Huh?
What are you doing? Cut your switch.
What's wrong, Mr. Davis?
What's wrong? Is that the way you handle that modifier? Where's your apron?
Oh, yeah. Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis.
Don't be sorry. Do it right. Get on the ball, Jonathan. Get on the ball.
Yes, sir. On the ball. What time was it getting to be? I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think. All I could remember was what was in my locker. All I could remember was that thermos bottle filled to the top with nitro. All I could remember was a detonator set for 6:30. Hey, Mike, what time is it?
12:30.
Hey, Mike, what time is it?
10 minutes after 1.
Hey, Mike, what time is it?
5 minutes to 2.
Hey, Mike, what time is it?
Almost time for lunch.
Lunch?
And am I hungry? I could eat 'em. Hey, what's wrong with you? Well, you're white. Is it...
My stomach.
Hey, you guys, come over here, quick!
How do you feel now, son?
Better. What time is it? Where am I?
In the plant dispensary. You ever had a spell like that before?
No, I never did, Doc. What time is it?
Hey, you're pretty nervous, aren't you?
No, I'm all right.
I don't know. Your pulse was extremely high when they brought you in here.
But I'm all right now, Doc. I want to go back to my job.
You want to what? I can't allow you to go back to your job, son. Now, just relax.
But I'm all right now. What time is it?
Take it easy now. Take it easy. It's 2:30.
2:30? But then they all gone back to work. I won't be able to go to my locker.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Your lunch. Isn't that what's on your mind?
But lunch is over. I won't be able to go back.
Now, never mind. I'll send somebody to get your lunch, kid.
Oh, no, don't do that. Huh? No, really, Doctor. I'm not hungry.
Sure, I know, but you've got to have something. Just sit there.
He went into the next room. I wanted to jump up and start running. Oh, but that was no good either. Why'd I made such a fuss about the lunch kid? What's he doing in there? And he came back. And he was carrying a glass of milk.
Here you are. You're going to miss lunch. At least drink this.
Milk.
Go on. Drink it down.
Okay.
Finish it all. That's it. Feel better?
Yeah. I think I better go back to work.
No, you don't want to do that. Just take it easy.
Oh, I feel fine now. Really.
You couldn't go back to work even if I let you.
What do you mean?
You'll lie down on the cot there in the next room and take it easy. You're going to take a nice long sleep.
Sleep?
Why, sure.
Oh, no. I got to get back to work.
Oh, no. Not tonight anymore.
But I couldn't sleep.
You'll sleep all right. I put a couple of grains of barbital in that milk you drank.
Sleeping powder?
Hey, what's the matter with you breaking the glass like that?
I don't want to go to sleep. I'm all right.
Oh, you're all right. Can't even hold a glass. Well, you're in fine shape. And at least you drank the milk.
I don't like taking dope.
Now, look, son, it'll slow you down. You'll wake up feeling like a new man. You little fellas, you don't know how to relax. It's a wonder you live as long as you do. Now, come along with me. You just lie there now and behave yourself. That's right. Crawl under the blankets. Now, in a few minutes, you'll be sleeping like a baby. And you won't need the lights. Good night, young fella. Pleasant dreams.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. John Lund in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Sleeping powder. He put sleeping powder in the milk. And like an idiot, I drank it all down, every bit of it. And then I started to get drowsy. With a time bomb in my lunch kit set to go off in just a few hours, I started getting drowsy. No, I had to get up, to get out. I couldn't stay there, couldn't sleep through. Had to do something. My eyes are getting heavy, so heavy. Couldn't keep them open. Pint of pure nitro and all the chemicals and inflammable stockpiles here. The place would go up like an ammunition dump. Had to get out. Couldn't keep my eyes open. So easy. It's so easy. Let my eyes close. Go to sleep. No. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't. I crawled off the cot. Window in the room. I had to get through the window. Couldn't go through the doctor's office. Get out through the window. I started over. Then I had to stop. Sit down. So tired. So good to sit there. So good clothes. What's that? The nitro! The whistle! Time to go home. 6 o'clock. I slept right through and then the whistle woke me up. It woke me up. Oh, well, lucky. I'm lucky. 6 o'clock. The lunch kit goes off at 6:30. That's fast. This time, no mistake. Now I have to do everything right. Getting out of the dispensary was easy. There was a shed right below the window. I dropped to the roof and into the ground. Didn't feel any too good. Still groggy from the barbitol. There was no time to think about that now. When I got back to the locker room, the boys were climbing out of their work clothes, getting ready for the shower room.
Hiya, Jonathan. You okay now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel fine.
Hey, you better stop drinking that turpentine, Jonathan.
Boy, you sure had me worried, Jonathan.
Oh, I'm all right now, Mike.
Do I still get the ride?
Oh, yeah.
See you later, then. Gonna take a shower.
I changed into my street clothes and nothing flat, not caring how I looked. I was kind of worried the doctor would look in on me and find me gone. When I was ready to go, all the other fellas were in the shower room. Oh, that was the break I wanted. I took the lunch kit out of my locker and slid it underneath. Then I looked at my wristwatch. 4 minutes after 6. I had 25 minutes to get away. It was working out fine. Now I knew Father would be pleased. I walked past the front offices. No one else around yet. Couldn't walk too fast, though. Not too fast, not too slow. That's natural. Not too fast, not too slow.
Jonathan.
Huh? That was Mr. Davis, the foreman.
How you feeling now, Jonathan?
Oh, I'm all right, Mr. Davis.
Anyhow, I want to talk to you. Come into the office.
Now?
Sure, now.
Oh, I'm in kind of a hurry, Mr. Davis.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, nobody's in a hurry. Come on, come in.
All right, but just for a minute.
Close the door. Sit down. Nothing like sitting down and relaxing after a long night. This chair could use a little oil.
I really can't stay long, Mr. Davis. I'm supposed to meet someone.
At 6 o'clock in the morning? You still look pale, Jonathan. You sure you feel all right?
Yes. Mr. Davis, if it's about the mistake I made tonight...
Oh, it's not that so much. I'm just a little worried about your health.
There's nothing to worry about, Mr. Davis. It's just that, well, sometimes I get a little nervous.
A little nervous? Look at you, squirming on that chair. You're a bundle of nerves. Something bothering you? I mean, something really bothering you? You can't relax.
Nothing's bothering me.
Well, just to make sure, I'm going to call the dispensary. I've got a hunch you're not telling me everything.
I tell you, I'm all right.
Dispensary, please.
Jonathan, come back here. What's wrong with that guy?
He wasn't chasing me. I looked at my watch. 6:14. Still plenty of time to get away. I left the main building, started across the yard to the gate. It was still dark. I was one of the first out.
Hey, you!
Don't look back. Keep going. Don't let him stop you.
Hey, slow down! Bob, I gotta chase you. I'm all out of breath.
What do you want?
You know as well as I what I want. You forgot something.
What did I forget?
You forgot to punch the time clock.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow? That'll be my neck. You're not leaving this plant till you punch out, mister.
All right. I'll go back and punch out.
Where's the fire? You ought to work out that energy at your job, young fella.
Yeah. I went back into the main building. And there was at least 20 other guys waiting in line before the clock. Hey, look. I got to get to town early. How about letting me punch out now, huh?
End of the line, bud.
But it'll only take a second.
End of the line.
We all want to get to town early, bud.
Okay. Still had time.
Hi, there, Jonathan.
Hello.
Say, I think Mike's looking for you.
Yeah?
The old guy sort of adopted you, I think.
Yeah.
Sure a good long line tonight, eh?
Yeah.
Well, not so much to do at 6 o'clock in the morning. My missus will be asleep when I get home. Oh. How you feeling now?
Oh, okay. Say, is my watch right? I got 6:21.
Yeah. Yeah, 6:20 I got. You sure figure it out to the minute.
Right to the minute. Here's my card. Okay. Finally got to the parking lot. Whole flock of guys were out by now. It was kind of cold. Took a couple of seconds for the motor to turn over. It was 6:27. I had 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Couldn't waste any time. I was fighting for my life. Finally caught. Started backing out quick. Had to get out of here in a hurry. 3 minutes. Less than that now.
Oh! Hey, look out! Oh, my headlights. What's the matter with you? Come out and see what you did to my headlights.
I'm sorry. I'll pay for them.
Oh, that ain't the idea. Why don't you watch where you're going?
All right, here's my driver's license. I work in Unit 5. I'll see you tonight, and we'll work something out. My name is Jonathan Peters.
Hey, not so fast. Not so fast. I got to write this down. You got a pencil?
Here's my pen. Well, start writing.
All right. Jonathan Peters. Unit 5,
Yes.
Huh? Okay, here's your pen. I'll see you tonight. You ought to watch where you're going this time in the morning.
Back up and let me out. When you fell, I'm in a hurry.
Oh, you guys, always in a hurry. Always in a hurry. That's how trouble starts. All right. It's clear now.
Thanks. No more than 2 minutes. I gotta hurry. Hurry. Clear now. All clear. Hurry. Hurry.
Hey, Jonathan, wait for me. Wait, Jonathan.
Oh, he got away. Now, why'd he do that? These young fellas don't know what the end will be.
That kid sure is wacky.
In a hurry. Always in a hurry.
Hey, what's the matter with him?
No sense of responsibility. Last night he drives like a turtle. This morning he races out of here like a demon and leaves me standing.
Too bad, Mike. Well, maybe somebody else will give you a ride home, huh?
Oh, I can get a bus, but this'll teach me to do a guy a favor.
What do you mean?
Well, that Jonathan. I didn't want to keep him waiting, so I came out and looked for him, and he's not in the car. So I go back in the plant to look, and I miss him. When I get back, he's driving off.
Yeah? So what's the favor you did him?
He was so darn particular about it. And he goes off and leaves it under his locker. But I found it and put it in his car for him.
What?
His lunch kit. I put it in his car.
Hey, what was that?
Funny. Sounded like thunder.
Thunder? Look at the sky.
Yeah, beautiful. No, it couldn't have been thunder. It's gonna be a real nice day.